in heat number 10. So Zane Schweitzer and his family, hopefully Shaunene's watching, Maddie, Shell Breezy, they stand up for the Cure event, one of the great events in stand-up paddling, raising money for breast cancer awareness. I believe last year they raised over $100,000 for the Susan G. Komen Foundation, helping prevent. Here's Zane on wave number 2 on the left. So Zane had a little bit of a bog on that first turn, setting up for turn 2, going off the top, paddle transfer turn 3, another hit off the top, grabs rail for the barrel at the end. And you see Zane with his silver necklace that is a graduation present from his mom. And he'll look to get another score in the excellent range on the rights. So heat number 7, Zane Schweitzer in blue, Daniel Hughes in yellow, beginning their campaign on the rights. So Daniel Hughes setting up for his first wave. Daniel has really done a great job of smoothing out his surfing. I know a couple of years ago, every single wave was pumped down the line and boosting air. They were good airs, but he's now added a little bit more flow into his repertoire and still has the aerial game as well.
Definitely, and he's definitely an assertive surfer in the sense of he gets some advice and he goes out there and he does it. The judge is giving him some advice off the Huntington Beach, and I saw it immediately paying off as we see him here. Getting up into the top part of the wave there, definitely nice opening, kind of looking as though he was looking for the same maneuver as Zane there, experiencing the same airlift problems there.
Yeah, those are the types of airs that I can do. So I'm right up there, ready to boost as high as Daniel did on that last one. And yeah, so he'll get ready for his next one as Zane Schweitzer prepares for his second right-hand wave. Let's look at a replay, Turtle Bay replay of Daniel's last wave. So you can see him paddling in close to the wall, sets his feet, going for a similar type of carving cutback, doing a great job getting above the white water, a nice carving cross-bow cutback, and then going for the air. As we see Sean Pointer frolicking in the water. Sean will be coming up later in heat number 10. So Zane Schweitzer and his family, hopefully Shaunene's watching, Maddie, Shell Breezy, they stand up for the Cure event, one of the great events in stand-up paddling, raising money for breast cancer awareness. I believe last year they raised over $100,000 for the Susan G. Komen Foundation, helping prevent. Here's Zane on wave number 2 on the left. So Zane had a little bit of a bog on that first turn, setting up for turn 2, going off the top, paddle transfer turn 3, another hit off the top, grabs rail for the barrel at the end. And you see Zane with his silver necklace that is a graduation present from his mom, and it's a very, very sentimental piece of jewelry that he wears. Zane, I feel a little redundant saying how incredibly nice all the surfers are, but Zane just one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And here's brother Matty. What's up? Matty's got his "What's Up" shirt on, going through. Yeah, here's where you did good. Here's where you need to. Oh. So they're watching the replay. We will watch the Turtle Bay replay as well. So we see him carving back into the whitewater, keeping the paddle on his toe side. Then he goes for the cross bow turn and low for another turn. And we'll look for Daniel Hughes to set up for his right hand wave number 2. Daniel Hughes enjoying himself wherever he goes, as we see Connor Baxter getting warmed up for his heat coming up. He's in the next group of couple of heats. And here we have Daniel Hughes, goofy footer, taking off. Paddles on his heel side, going for that cross bow turn to paddle transfer. Now it's on his toe side as he works his way down the line. Little credit card air, another turn at the end. You can see his paddle is stuck in his leash a little bit.
So Anthony, could I ask you the direct definition of a credit card air?
Yes, so a credit card air, it's not something you pay for. That is the height that you get on the air. So if you can get over a credit card, then that is a credit card air. So looking for these guys to do airs in the, a couple of card decks over the lip. So we see Daniel Hughes on his backhand. This first turn is really nice. And then just kind of got a little off balance, but managed to regroup for turn number 2 as he sets up. There you see his board getting a little bit above the white water. And Dan completing his ride there. So Dan will have the local advantage when we get to our next stop on the tour, which is Huntington Beach.
Actually, there will be one stop before that, but that is to be announced shortly here. But yeah, Huntington Beach is the 5th stop on the 2014 Stand Up World Tour, before, of course, the La Torche Pro Finals in France, in the beautiful region of northwest France, Brittany. So a big aloha also. Salut à tous nos partenaires en France qui nous attendent en octobre pour l'événement là-bas. As we see Zane Schweitzer going on this right-hander. Zane Schweitzer, the goofy foot on his backhand. Starboard team rider. Nice opening turn. Driving back into the whitewater. Zane looking for something more here. Nice slashing turn there. Redirecting. And throwing the tail out, just coming unstuck. That was a beautiful looking kind of reverse there, but just coming unstuck, unfortunately, as Daniel Hughes heads out for his final right-hander.
Yeah, he linked his first few turns very nicely, and that turn number 3 was a very critical turn. So Zane will go and look at his replay as we look at our replay. So we see Zane paddling again close to the wall. You see him switch sides with the paddle, cutting back into the white water, and then putting it on rail back into the water. And how was that turn? That was beautiful as he sets up for this last and final 360 attempt, trying to grab the rail to help maintain balance to complete the maneuver. As we see Mateo Salazar, part of the new advanced team. So he's on one of those new advanced boards, as well as his brother Leco from Santos, Brazil, very famous surf town. So he's got a couple of good scores on the left. We'll see what he's got on the right.
So we met up with the owner of New Advance and their shaper. So it was great to meet up with those guys while we were over there in Brazil last week. As we have a score update, Zane Schweitzer, 6.1 on your last wave, your last right. So your scoring right will be a 6.1 and your scoring left an 8.5, as we see Daniel Hughes live action here. Nice banking turn back into the white water. Another turn there as he sets up for the inside off the top. Putting everything into those turns. That was a better wave for Daniel Hughes. Let's see how it comes out. At the moment he has two 4.5s. So let's see if he was able to improve on that position. A 5.7 for his left hand wave, as we will now see heat number 8 get into the water. Ian Vaz and Mateo Salazar, the Brazilian showdown. Mateo having put on a phenomenal performance in the lefts, like Zane. Not quite as high as Zane. Zane getting that higher higher score, an 8.5. Excellent score from Zane on the left. 8.3 from Mateus, both with really crisp, radical surfing here in the wave pool at Wadi Adventure, the Abu Dhabi All-Stars Grand Slam. So if you've just joined us, we're getting underway with the Turtle Bay replay from heat number 7. This is Daniel Hughes.
So Daniel driving down the line, carving cutback, rebounds nicely off the whitewater. You see his paddle get stuck in his leash. His paddle is still just stuck in his leash, but he manages to get his board up, and he was, I think, frustrated a little and really threw his tail on that last turn. So Daniel, I think, has got a really long leash, and it just appears to be getting caught in his paddle, but he's still managing to execute some aggressive maneuvers. So we see our surfer in blue. That is Jan Vaz from Brazil. Jan with his reality show along with his brother, the Brothers Vaz, as Jan takes off on his first left hand. That's a right wave actually. So Jan, aggressive first turn, coming off the bottom, showing his fins. Oh, nice off the top there, as he sets up for a super easy 360. Making it look easy, but it is not. I think a lot of surfers would love to do one of those turns anytime in their career, and Jan just throws it nice and easy in the 6-inch wave at the end of the Wadi Adventure right point break wave. So this is heat number 8. Jan Vaz and Mateo Salazar, they're working their way through their 3 rights. So here's our replay. You see a very nice off the bottom, off the top transition, and his finishing 360. I love watching these Turtle Bay replays where you can see the foot placement. There's just subtle movements with their feet to help them transition from one maneuver to the next, and then complete maneuvers as well. Especially when they start going to the aerial game, there's a lot of minute corrections that in real time it's very difficult to see, but with these great shots from the camera crew, we're able to really see the fine-tuning of the mechanics of these surfers. There's Brothers Vaz having a good time down there. Uh-oh, he's doing a little chicken dance. Hey, oh, splashing game. I wonder who wins the fights between these two. I'm sure they, oh, Kyle's claiming it. He's like, oh, of course I do. I'm the older brother. So last score of
Jan Vaz, a 6.8. That's a great score for Jan on his first ride, as we see Mateo Salazar on his backhand. Banking back into the whitewater, getting right up to the top of that whitewater. And a nice slashing turn on his backhand again, up into the lip. Some really precise surfing from Mateo Salazar. Let's see how he fares against that last wave. Jan Vaz, a 6.8, so great performances. We see a snapshot of the upper viewing deck. The Gomez brother and sister. Oh, look at Mo Freitas got some moves. James Casey, we got everyone dancing.
You got
Ty Bates coming in for a little move. And
Justin Hall. Oh, keep dancing. Don't stop. You guys are going live to 500,000 people all over the world.
5,000?
500,000.
Oh, there we go. I was going to say. So we're going to go for the Turtle Bay replay of Justin Holland. No, we're not. We're going to the Turtle Bay replay of Mateo Salazar on his backhand here. Nice opening turn, banking right up over the whitewater there. So really keeping in the power source of the wave, and another slashing turn through the lip there, and another. So opening wave for Mateus on his backhand.
So you see the different strategies in these rights and lefts, where some of the competitors are going all the way to the bottom and then coming up to the top, whereas others are taking off at an angle, getting in front of the wave, and then carving back into the whitewater. I don't really know which one's better. The judges are the ones that are in charge of that, but the surfer is doing a great job of making both strategies look very aggressive and critical. So we're here on a beautiful Sunday in Al Ain in the United Arab Emirates, as we see Ian Vaz throwing spray on his first turn, a little bit caught up on the whitewater, which affects the timing of his bottom turn, and he comes off the back of his board on that one. So timing is so important in each of these waves. If you get a little bit off on one turn, that's going to affect the next turn. And the music is just keeping these guys entertained, as that's Heat 7, Daniel Hughes and Zane Schweitzer having a dance. We got Maddie, Connor, Team Starboard. They are just grooving. Daniel showing his dancing skills.
How to clear a dance floor by Daniel. No, I'm just kidding. This is Jan Vaj driving top turn there. Trying to improve on a 6.8. We'll see how this fares, but slashing, unfortunately, coming unstuck. That's not going to improve his position there. So brother Kaio in the background there. So that was the replay there of Jan Vaj's last wave. So that won't make any difference to his scoreline. So once again, I would just like to thank all those who made this event possible. This incredible Abu Dhabi All-Stars event. Above all, to his Sheikh Ahmed for supporting this event wholeheartedly, but also the Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club, ESSA, the official stand-up paddle and surf association here in the UAE, providing a safe, strong future for the sport in this beautiful region. Thank you also to our host Wadi Adventure and our future host of the World Series Racing later this week, of course, Yas Marina. We're hoping that Sheikh Ahmed, he's actually on site right now enjoying the action. We're hoping he's going to come up and join us in the booth here to say his hello to the viewing public, as we see Matthias Salazar on another wave. Nice opening turn, setting up for his second turn here. Banking back into the white water. Just doing a Brazilian 12 o'clock turn there, but coming unstuck.
So Mateus with a 7.8 on his first right-hand wave. That was his second. We'll await his score. Jan Vaj, your first wave was a 3.3. Sorry, your last scoring wave was a 3.3. Your first right was a 6.8. So Mateus looking good with a 7.8 on his first wave. He's got an 8.3 from the left. So let's take a look at this replay. You can see his crossbow turn there. Goes into another nice crossbow turn. Then keeps the paddle on his toe side, goes 12 o'clock, and then goes for a little body surfing maneuver. Comes unstuck. So thanks to our crew up there. Got Fergus on screen. Yeah. A little throwing shakas. Last of Mateus, 5.2. Last wave for Mateus Salazar, 5.2. So we have one more right for each of these competitors, and then we will transition the wave pool to the coveted closeout section. So Jan Vaj setting up. You can see him looking back at this wave, trying to time it just right. Coming off the bottom for a nice double pump bottom turn. Throwing some spray, moving his foot back into position. Coming off the top, releasing his fins. Another nice top turn. Mateus is that's Jan Vaj linking together some great turns right there. So we'll see if that will build on his first right, which was a 6.8. We'll see if that will improve his score as we await Mateus Salazar's last right. So Mateus is throwing some great scores on each of his waves. He's got some 3 high-scoring waves for the lefts, a couple of high-scoring waves on his right, and we'll see what his third right brings. And then we will move back into heat number 7, which is Zane Schweitzer and Daniel Hughes. And these are 2 aerial acrobats that have a beautiful closeout section to play with for 3 attempts at a high-scoring wave to add to their scoring potential. And then we'll get into some of the later rounds. We have some Nash riders coming up later. In the bottom half of the draw. So we are just about halfway through the first half of our first round heats. Jan Vaj, last wave 7.6. So that is your highest scoring right, 7.6, as we see Mateos taking off. Again, getting out in front of the wave, carving back into the white water, spraying the cameraman there, keeping the paddle on his toe side, going up and over, using his paddle to complete the maneuver. So we'll see if that will better his 7.8. I'm really enjoying his style. He's got great and very critical maneuvers. He's also got his game face on, so Mateos looking to have a great result here. Looking very in form on every single one of his rides. So now we switch the wave pool into the closeout section. The first wave, after we make the change, is a little bit cleaner than the other waves, so that's a transition wave that doesn't count, and you see some of our surfers getting out there, getting a little bit wet, taking advantage of these transition waves. So there are no empty waves. As we've been here for a couple days, that's one of the things that all the surfers cringe when you see an empty wave going unridden here. You're like, oh, I could be on that wave. So that's Lucas Medeiros on screen in the shade over there. Kyle Vaj ready to get his wave on camera. Hope you didn't get water in your iPhone there, Kyle. You good? Okay, you're good. He was just getting the drops off the front of it, so. Again, waiting the transition wave. You see Lucas on screen. And we've got scores for Jan, your last wave a 7.6. That is your highest scoring right, to go with your 5.8 on the left. Mateos' last wave was a 7.6. That does not better your first wave, which was a 7.8. So Mateos with a 8.3 and a 7.8, which already puts him into the top 3 overall, and he still has the closeout section to go. So Mateos looking in very good form. If he wanted to, he could just sit out and not even do the closeouts, and he will advance into round 3. Well, I cannot say that yet because there's a number of surfers to go, but he is very much in a great position to advance directly into round 3 with the first scores that he posted. So you see the bubbles at the back of the wave pool. There's pumps back there that send out rights, lefts, closeouts. There's also an A-frame that's very fun. Great shot of our whole wave park. See Lucas Medeiros over there waiting, standing up. We have Nicole Pacelli over there sitting down waiting for our right. So it takes a couple minutes to transition between each of the different types of waves. So we take a couple minutes in between. Great time for the competitors to look at the replays from their camera crew, figure out what they can do bigger and better. So if you don't follow the Stand Up World Tour on Instagram yet, get on your phones and go ahead and do that right now. Stand Up World Tour, also Stand Up World Series. So looks like the camera is sticking with Lucas. Lucas looking good. Oh, he comes off. Nicole Pacelli. Oh, they both decided to jump off the back of the wave there. You see them look at each other and smile. I thought you were going to keep going. No, I thought you were going to keep going.
So what a beautiful afternoon here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars Grand Slam. We see the Brazilian contingent, traveling partners Lucas Medeiros and Nicole Pacelli from Brazil. And there's Caio Vaz, Team Brazil, keeping it wet here at Wadi Adventure Park. So current ratings leaders, Caio Vaz and Nicole Pacelli. As we have scoring updates for you, Zane Schweitzer with his best scoring right of a 6.1. Daniel Hughes with his best scoring right of a 4.8. So Zane Schweitzer sitting currently with an 8.5 on his lefts and a 6.1 on his rights. We're now going into the closeout portion of this event. Daniel Hughes with a 5.7 on his lefts and a 4.8 on his rights. So we've had the transition wave. This will be Zane Schweitzer up next in the closeout component.
Yeah, she is. So again, there you see a shot of Lucas and Nicole. Lucas, one of the surfing crew that enjoys the jiu-jitsu. He had some great sessions on the North Shore. I believe had a jiu-jitsu session with Kelly Slater. So did you get a chance to fight him, Lucas, or what? So here we have live Zane Schweitzer on his first closeout, throwing some spray with a setup turn, using the top portion of the wave to get some speed, but you saw him when he was setting up for his final pump. He just caught a little bit of an edge. There's our crew enjoying upstairs. Justin Hall on the Frotha. James Casey, he's done for the day. Kai Bates, he's yet to compete. You got Aline Arisaka. Ibaya Moreno, you have one more hour. And you have a replay happening right now. Turtle Bay replay of Zane Schweitzer's first left. So you see Zane throwing spray, but that's just a check turn for Zane. You see him pumping here, and right there, he just caught an edge and set him a little bit off balance, but then going for the chop hop 180. It's amazing what Zane can do with 3 inches of white water. Some of us would love to do that maneuver that he just attempted in any condition. Zane is really pushing the boundaries and limits of what you're able to do on a stand-up board, as well as a number of these competitors. Kai Lenny, who will be coming up in our last heat of the day, getting some amazing waves and barrels at his home break. Some small wave called Jaws or Piahi. So there's Zane waxing up his board a little bit. So it's very hot. You see him, he's not rubbing it, he's placing little wax balls on his board to make sure that it stays on there. So first of Zane, 4.6. First wave of Zane Schweitzer, 4.6. He's not even phased. He's like, yep, you'll see, I will do better. So there's Dan Hughes getting ready for his first closeout. Dan checking it off the top, pumping down the line. Goes to the air. Will he ride out of this one? No, not quite riding out, but that was definitely above the lip. So Dan Hughes looking good on his first wave. He'll look to land one of those maneuvers as we see the brothers Salazar discussing Mateos' strategy for his 3 closeouts that are coming up. So here's a slow-mo replay for Dan. So you see, good turn, but that's just a check turn. Now you see him using his paddle, trying to create board speed, boosting off the top, landing, but you see his back foot just slides off his deck pad, and he comes a little bit unstuck. Daniel Hughes will definitely land that air in one of his next 2 attempts, so we'll see how the judges factor in that score if he lands it. So Dan getting a 2.8 for that first attempt. So again, brothers Salazar, there's Leco, Mateos, discussing strategy for Mateos' next closeout. before he goes, he gets to watch Zane and Dan. So a couple of goofy footers are sticking to the lefts. So Zane Schweitzer, part of that September 18th birthday crew with Connor Baxter and Matthew Becker. 3 amazing athletes all born on the same day. Same day, same year, and they all 3 charge. So here you see Zane hugging the wall, setting his feet for his first turn. See a couple of cameramen out there. Again, that same thing that's happening to a lot of our competitors with that bottom to top combination on turn number 1, where you're going a little bit too high to the top of the wave and then just not able to ride back down. So Zane's smiling about it, having a laugh with Dan. All right. Our Turtle Bay replay. So you see Zane eyeing the wave. Paddle on his toe side. See him come off the top, throwing his fins, and then his front foot just seemed to slide off of his wax. He was going for the drop knee. There's Sean Pointer trying to see, when am I up? What time is it right now? He's like, I'm up in a few heats, but there's Connor like, man, I'm going to do this sweet air. You guys will see. And the dark horse, Bant Rodiger, just chilling, getting ready for his heat later. Bant posting some of the highest scores of the event in Sunset, making his way from the trials all the way into the main event. Bant was absolutely ripping down there at Sunset, again posting some of the highest heat scores of the entire event. So he's part of that windsurf crew from Maui who has done very well in stand-up paddling. Bant making an effort to get to as many events on tour this year as he can. He just came back from an event in Japan, windsurfing surf event in Japan, doing very well, making a final there after winning an event in Santa Cruz, and here he is at his 3rd event in a week. So here we see Daniel Hughes on his next attempt. So Dan's setting up with a beautiful carving turn, a couple of pumps, going to the air, and landing it smooth. That was very nice. Look at his face. He's like, yeah, judges, that was a quiet claim there for Dan. He's usually all smiles, but he wasn't smiles on that one. Now he's smiling. That was a good one, Dan. So he didn't go quite as high as his first wave because he wanted to make sure he landed that. But I cannot wait to see what he throws for his last and 3rd wave on the closeout section.
So I'm back. This is Tristan Boxford, director of the Stand Up World Tour, sitting here with Anthony Vella, legendary athlete and speaker here on the Stand Up World Tour. We're taking a look at the replay of that last wave of Daniel Hughes as we see Dylan Frick overseeing from above. This is Daniel Hughes. So nice opening turn, really shows the bottom of his board to the judges. The judges will like that as he cruises down the line, generating speed here and boosts up over the lip, completely fins out. So that was definitely, it's got to be a strong performance there from Daniel Hughes from Huntington Beach. That's what he's known for right there, making his presence felt.
Yeah, that was at least 3 card decks right there. He was at least 3 card decks above the lip on that one. So
Not sure it's the easiest analogy, but I see where you're coming from, Anthony. But I'd like to take the opportunity to say a big thank you to our Stand Up World Tour patrons, all the industry brands who support the development and growth of this professional platform for the sport of stand-up paddling. We have Starboard Nash, JP Australia, Fanatic, Rogue, Art and Surf, BIC SUP, IOPS, that's Indian Ocean Paddle Surf, Focus SUP, F1, and New Advance from Brazil. All very worthy supporters of the Stand Up World Tour. We thank you so much for your support. As we see Zane Schweitzer, starboard rider, driving off the bottom here. Nice slashing opening turn. gets the fins free, throws the tail out. So a nice closing turn on the closeout from Zane Schweitzer.
So Daniel Hughes, last score, getting into the excellent range with an 8.2. So Daniel linking two nice turns together. So Daniel Hughes, last wave, 8.2, getting into the excellent range.
So definitely getting some projection there, Daniel Hughes, off that last closeout section. Zane not getting quite as much projection, but throwing the tail out, a little bit more of a style element. As we see the riders watching on from left to right, it's Ibai Moreno from the Canary Islands in Spain, and Candice Appleby there, and to our far right, Kai Bates from Australia sitting with Jake Jensen, Georgia Gomez, James Casey, and Tony Freitas looking very serious and concentrated there. Some serious action going on as we got a replay of that last wave from Zane Schweitzer.
See Zane eyeing the lip, showing his fins on that first turn. You see him get right into a pump to create some speed, going up and over the lip, throwing a little bit of air and a little tail slide there. So we'll see what the judges think, and add in another little whitewater climb just for fun.
So it's interesting to see the two different approaches there. Zane putting a little more focus on his first turn than Daniel probably, but Daniel focusing on building speed for his closing turn. So Zane not boosting as high as Daniel, but a little more flair on his. And it does indeed. The two turn combination for Zane Schweitzer does satisfy the judges. It pleases them a lot. 8.4 on that wave. Zane Schweitzer's third closeout wave, an 8.4. So a great score there for Zane Schweitzer. So that means Zane is sitting with an 8.4 and an 8.5 as his scoring waves, which I believe propels him into the lead in the overall leaderboard right now. So great performance from the Abu Dhabi All-Star from 2013 as we see Daniel Hughes slashing on his first turn on his last closeout wave. Taking to the air again, nice clean pop over the lip there. Not quite as high as the last one, but definitely a good wave. The beach like giving his applause as well. That's Carl de Villiers, a great supporter of stand-up paddling here in the UAE. He's been taking care of the Starboard and Fanatic teams while they've been staying here in the UAE, living in Dubai, one of the beautiful Emirates. There's Daniel Hughes.
Yeah, you see Zane and Maddie stoked on Dan's wave. That's the great camaraderie we see. Everyone just likes to see good surfing, no matter who it is out there. So Dan carving this, we're in a replay, carving his first turn. You see him using his paddle to generate some speed. Good positioning on the wave here. And then bam, throws it up and over the lip with some style. And again, he's got that fierce face at the end.
So definitely his timing is on here. Daniel Hughes hitting the most critical section of that wave and boosting up over the lip. It wasn't quite as high as his first wave, but it was definitely still a very cleanly executed aerial. A nice opening turn too, so should be another good score for Daniel Hughes. We'll wait for that score to drop. But as it stands, it looks as though Zane Schweitzer will go into the lead above Poenaiki Rioja in the current leaderboard. Poenaiki currently has a 16.2 as it stands. We'll wait for official results, but as it stands, it's a 16.9 for Zane Schweitzer, boosting him into the lead. And then we have the score for Daniel Hughes, a 7.5, so still a very good score from Daniel Hughes, a 7.5, but his 8.2 will be the score that counts for his closeouts. So Daniel actually in a great position too, with an 8.2 and a 5.7. I'll do the calculations in a second here, or our scoring team will, and we'll come right back to you. So we are honored to have His Highness Sheikh Ahmed coming to join us for a quick chat about surfing in the UAE and stand-up paddling and his support. As we have Ian Vaj on a wave here. This is Ian coming into the closeout section. Nice closing turn there from the Brazilian athlete, art and surf athlete, a really strong contender on the World Tour, and a nice opening wave for Jan. So as I said, I am honored to be joined by Sheikh Ahmed, proud supporter of this Abu Dhabi All-Stars event for the second year in a row. Timmy and a few other guys back in 2006, I believe, started stand-up paddling.
Yes, we were a few, and we started inviting friends to try stand-up paddling, and they enjoyed it, so they got more boards, so we became a big group now. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting to see. When you first stepped on a stand-up board, could you have ever imagined that we'd be sitting here together watching the All-Stars in the water doing some of the stuff they're doing out there today?
No, when I started standing on the board, I couldn't balance myself. I fell a few times, but Tamer was encouraging me to try again, and then when I got the hang of it, I enjoyed it a lot. And now we're watching the World Championship.
Well, we're so thankful for your support of this event, and obviously with the ESSA and the Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club, it's a great support mechanism for sports in general for the UAE, right?
Yes, yes. We're glad, the championship is happening here in UAE, and we're so proud. As I've mentioned to the media, the local media, this is a big event happening here. It's putting the name of UAE on the map. Everybody knows about Al Ain, Abu Dhabi, UAE. So we're so proud.
That's great to hear. And this is Mateus Salazar from Brazil. He's been on great form. Nice banking turn off the top there. Just coming unstuck, unfortunately, but already notching up 2 great waves in this heat. So you're obviously a big supporter of water sports in general. I know you're an avid kite surfer as well. Is that right?
Yes. I started kite surfing since 2001, and we were a few. And now we're over 100. We're 100 in numbers.
And how do you see the growth of stand-up paddling comparatively here? You see probably a lot more growth even, no?
Yeah, it's much faster because you don't need wind. You can go anytime you want, day and night.
And when you think about an ideal place to come stand-up paddling, I mean the warm water and the beautiful color of the sea here in Abu Dhabi, I mean it really is a perfect venue for stand-up paddling, no?
Yes, you can come to Al Ain. Sometimes I paddle in the mangroves, and it's like a maze there. I get lost sometimes, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
And have you actually been racing in Abu Dhabi or not?
Yes, I did a few times. There's an event called the Gharbiya Festival, water festival, and I did it twice.
Well, that's excellent. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you participating in the 2015 edition of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars.
Hopefully. We'll see young locals. I'm working on that this year. We'll see more Emiratis in the sport, and I promise you, we've worked hard, to see Emirati boys, competing.
Well, we certainly hope so. Last year we were so happy to have Mohammed. I'm not sure if you know Mohammed, who was out here and helping us with some commentary and giving a local perspective. I know he surfs here in Al Ain a lot. I don't think he's so much into the stand-up paddling yet, but definitely one of the representing Emirati surfers.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'd love to meet him and sponsor him.
Well, Mohammed, if you're watching this, come see us down here. This is Jan Vaj on a wave, driving a nice turn, throwing the tail out. Oh, he kind of got the board in between the legs there, but I think he avoided any real danger. But Jan Vaj putting it all on the line. That's what the judges want to see. They want to see commitment, they want to see power, and they want to see radical surfing. Jan Vaj putting it all on the line there for a great wave. Unfortunately coming out and stuck at the end there. So this is actually a family home for the royal family here in Al Ain. Is that right? Or Al Ain is a town? Is this where you originally come from?
I'm born in Al Ain, yes, and my family is here, so I come here regularly. But my work is in Abu Dhabi.
And so, obviously there's quite a few states within the UAE. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a place you like to be the most?
Each emirate is unique and has beautiful things to enjoy.
Well, we're really excited about exploring that. So we're going to throw down to the beach for an interview with the current leader on the leaderboard here. It is Zane Schweitzer from the island of Maui, Abu Dhabi All-Star Champion from 2013. So down to Zane on the beach.
How's it going, guys? Here in Abu Dhabi for the All-Star Challenge. We got great waves here in the oasis in the middle of the desert, the Wadi Adventure Park. Stoked to be here for the round 1. Got in some great practice today. Great warm-up for the days to come of competition. We have a lot more people here, world's best in surfing and racing, and super stoked to compete with the rest of the guys out here. And out in my heats then, I had some nice lefts in the beginning, some nice rights, And the closeout section, I was super stoked and a little excited for it, I think, and I kind of had 2 fumbles on my first 2 waves, but got that out of the way and finished a nice high score on my last left, and so I guess that put me into the leading position, and I'm super stoked for that. Excited to get some more surfing under my belt for sure, because it is so much fun here. The wave is perfect, and it's such a great arena for us down in Powers to show some a lot of variety of maneuvers, and also some innovative maneuvers, which is my favorite. And want to give a big thank you to Sheikh Ahmed to be here supporting everyone, and the whole community here in the UAE. It's been always great to come here, and super stoked to be back.
So great to hear from Zane Schweitzer. We have a scoring update. Jan Vaj, your first wave was a 6.4. Your first wave was a 6.4. Your second wave was a 3.5. So your first wave, your first closeout was a 6.4, your second a 3.5. Mateo Salazar, your first wave was a 3.0. We're waiting for your second wave to drop. We will update the scores momentarily as soon as we receive that last score. But while we were on the interview with Zane there, we had a great wave from Mateo Salazar. Really well executed closeout turn. We'll wait to see a replay and an updated score for that. So it was a real pleasure to have Sheikh Ahmed here to give us a little insight into stand-up paddling here in the UAE. Obviously a passionate paddler and kite surfer and general ocean sports enthusiast. We're so thankful for his kind support of the sport, and obviously his commitment to developing the sport for the Emirati. To increase the Emirati involvement, where hopefully in the future years we'll see some Emirati champions participating on the World Series and World Tour. It's definitely a beautiful spot for stand-up paddling, as we see rider in blue. This is Jan Vaj driving up the bottom, going through the lip there on the softer part of the wave. Nice critical turn there from Jan Vaj. That was definitely a nicer closing turn. Sort of came unstuck on the wave before, so this was a great finish for that wave. Let's see how that score comes out. And we do have an updated score for Mateus Salazar. Mateus, your last wave was a 5.8. 5.8 for Mateus Salazar for his second wave. We're waiting, obviously, for his third wave to come up. We'll wait for the score of Jan Vaj, that last wave, to drop as well. That was a great wave from Jan Vaj. As we see brother Leco Salazar, brother Mateus, getting ready for his next heat. We'll be up next with heat number 9, Leco Salazar and Benoit Carpentier from France. As we see that closing turn of Jan Vaj in the Turtle Bay replay. Beautiful closing turn from Jan. And back to Leco. Getting ready for action. There you see his new advanced board. Looks to be working well here in the pool in Abu Dhabi. And his brother certainly putting on a clinic of performance stand-up paddling today. It's been great to watch him in action, to see that the Salazar legacy continues through the generations, from Picuruta to Leco to Mateus.
Yeah, no pressure for Leco, but his brother was ripping, so he's going to have to go out there. But that's the great part about sibling rivalry, is they just continue to push each other and rise the level of both of their surfing, as lots of siblings do in every sport.
Absolutely, Anthony. You know, it's particularly when you think about the Vaj brothers, they're there just rooting for each other every wave, giving each other advice. Same goes for the Salazars, Mateus and Leco. I'm sure if they come up against each other, it will be a fierce battle, and it'll be the battle to the end. But you know, I know that was one of Leco's concerns. He was worried about coming up against Mateus. He doesn't want to meet him until the final, I don't think. So we'll see what happens here, as we got action here.
Mateus up and riding, going for his closeout maneuver. And he wasn't up and over the lip, but a very nice closing maneuver nonetheless.
I have a feeling it wasn't quite as critical as his last wave. We'll wait to see the replay on that one. But that was Mateus Salazar on his final closeout wave. As we will now head on, I believe, Anthony, to heat number 9. So we'll be going back to the left setting. So there'll be one transition wave before we get underway with the lefts, as we see Lucas Medeiros there on the outside, looking to take advantage of the transition wave. Strong Brazilian contingent here in the UAE for this Abu Dhabi All-Stars event, with a strong presence also in the women's fleet, as we have current ratings leader Nicole Pacelli and Aline Adisaka. So we see floppy man Connor Baxter. They're doing a little dance, getting warmed up for his next heat. Mo Freitas giving him a little insight.
So we've got scores from the last rides of blue and yellow. Last of Jan Vaj, a 6.0. Mateos, your last score was a 5.5. So Jan with a 6.4, his highest scoring wave on the closeouts, and Mateos is going to maintain and keep his scores from the left and the right, so he's got an 8.3 to go with a 7.8 with a very good heat score, and we'll wait to see official results. And just getting back to final scores for the heat number 7, Zane Schweitzer, 8.5 and an 8.4. He's got a 16.9, which is our highest heat score of the day. And Daniel Hughes, he's going to drop his right. His left was a 5.7, and his highest scoring closeout was an 8.2. So Daniel Hughes will post a total heat score of 13.9. So Zane Schweitzer will move into first place, and it looks like Daniel Hughes with his 13.9 will move into sixth place, just ahead of Justin Holland. So, and we'll wait for the final totals for Jan and Mateos as well. As we move into heat number 9, which is Leco Salazar from Brazil and Ben Carpentier from France. So Leco on the new advanced boards, and Ben Carpentier, a starboard team rider, as we see starboard riders Justin Holland and Connor Baxter getting ready. And Bant Roediger, that's been his spot for the last 4 days here at the Wadi Adventure, trying to get as many waves as possible. So Connor's getting his GoPro ready, eating an apple. Kiahi Diaboyd's getting ready for his heat. See Zane skating in the background, that's Izzy Gomez, doing a little skateboarding herself. Oh, and Daniel Hughes getting on the board. So you see all the stand-ups waiting to be surfed on the land, and then we move up to our competitors in the upstairs venue. These are the guys that got the VIP passes to get upstairs. You got Evaya, you got Tony Freitas, you got Giorgio, James Casey, Jake Jensen. You got the 2 Fanatic riders over there with Jake and Kai Bates. As you see Sean Pointer in his zone getting ready for his heat. Each competitor has their own strategy to prepare for their heats. Some like to listen to music and dance and get amped. Some like to stretch and kind of get into their chi. You see Sean doing a little stretching as Zane Schweitzer gets barreled as he passes. Sean, yeah, you got to put up the barrel, Sean. There you go. So just, oh, we've got a huge barrel set. Izzy Gomez pulling in and makes it out of that barrel. Daniel Hughes pulling in and making it out of it, and the spit coming after that barrel. That was incredible, folks. We had the first, Zane going in front side and pulls into a nice barrel. Daniel coming in. Oh, Izzy Gomez dropping in on Daniel Hughes there. So we've got skateboarding action, surfing action. This is one of the transition waves in between our heats. So Lucas Medeiros enjoying these transition waves. See young Lucas laying into these turns. Nice little off the top there. Give us a big smile, Lucas. Yeah, there he is. So we are beginning heat number 9. Leco Salazar in blue, Ben Carpentier in yellow. Beautiful shot of our rising moon. We have almost a full moon here, rising above the desert in Al Ain. And we're going to replay Lucas's wave, a little slow-mo. How is that top turn off the top? You see how low he gets to prepare for this second turn. Boom, Lucas throwing some spray on that one. using his paddle to create board speed, little whitewater climb. Lucas trying to get as much airtime as he can today in between heats. As we see Leko preparing for his first wave of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars for his campaign. We have a look at Ben. Looks like he's a little ding repair there. So, see a number of our competitors trying to make some last minute adjustments to their boards before their heats. And here comes Leko Salazar, goofy footer on his forehand. Driving off the bottom with speed. Nice swooping cutback into the whitewater. Throws some spray off the top for his next turn. A little bit behind the whitewater, goes for his patented 360. And doesn't quite ride out of it. Leko makes the 360s look so easy. If I could do one of those in my life, I would be very stoked. So we've got Ben Carpentier up next on his campaign for the lefts. So they'll each ride 3 lefts, and then we have also heat number 10 will begin their campaign with Sean Pointer and Connor Baxter, both in this next heat. So here's a replay of Leko. And you see how he waits to plant his paddle till just before he encounters the whitewater. On rail and using a lot of power on that second turn. You see him adjust his feet to the front of the board to get some speed again, and then very casually goes into a 360 that he's unable to ride out on. But again, as we've said all day, the points are all in those first couple of turns. The last turn is just for fun.
So yeah, great wave there from Leko Salazar. So Leko showing a similar style to his brother there. Really committing and driving that last part of the turn to get extra apex on his turn. So great to see Leko on form here in Abu Dhabi. We also have Benoit Carpentier, the Frenchman from Brittany. As we see the wave come through, this is on his first left, Benoit on his backhand. Pour tous les Français en ligne, Benoit Carpentier au premier setup turn. Une deuxième. Il attaque le lèvre. Il finit bien la vague. So Benoit Carpentier on his backhand. Definitely Leko having the advantage on that exchange, but Benoit starting well with a few solid turns. Let's see how the judges view those first 2 turns as we wait for scores to drop.
As you see Ben motioning for some wax. So with the conditions here being so hot, you see some of the guys kind of slipping off their boards. Very difficult to apply wax to your board that's been sitting in the sun a little bit. Those starboard brushed carbon boards look beautiful as we see the replay of Ben on his first wave with a nice crossbow top turn. Great paddle work from Ben. Coming up again for a crossbow turn, then goes into the paddle transfer and throws it up off the whitewater again. And one more for good measure for fun. So Ben Carpentier from France.
So there we have a shot of Sheikh Ahmed and Riley Heffernan and Fergus, who is our on-site manager here at Wadi Adventure. So a bird's eye view of the contest area that they have up there. This is an unbelievable viewing platform for the sport. There's not many places in the world where you can sit here in comfort up on a beautiful terrace. As we see action live in the water right now, this is Leko Salazar on his second left-hander. Nice opening turn, really fluid surfing from Leko Salazar. Not quite getting the arc into his turn as he did on the first one, but nice slashing second turn right at the top of the wave. Nice float over the top there. And just really releasing the fins a little bit over the top of that final closing turn. So another nice wave from Leko Salazar. We'll be giving you a scoring update in just a second here.
There's a cool shot of Ben riding the backwash back out into the lineup. As we take a look at our Turtle Bay replay. See, this is after his first turn. He's a little bit behind, but then that turn was beautiful. Coming up off the top on rail, setting his feet for this next turn. A little hit off the whitewater, and then finishing with this nice tail release turn. So Leko doing a great job of linking turns on wave number 2 on his campaign on the lefts.
So we have a scoring update. First wave of blue Leko Salazar 7.5. First wave of yellow Benoit Carpentier a 5.8. So Leko, your first wave 7.5. Benoit 5.8. Pour le français en jaune. So there we get a glimpse of our competitors still hanging out, enjoying the cooler temperatures that the evening provide here in Alais. We also have, here we have a wave out. This is Benoit Carpentier on his second left. Nice driving bottom turn there, gets a little stuck in the lip there. Nice wrapping turn, second turn there, up into the lip. And finishing it off well. What do you think, Anthony?
He definitely linked some good turns together. Nothing super spectacular, but just kind of continuing to build his momentum and maintain his confidence. And, you know, again, we leave it up to the judges. Big thanks to our judging panel. And those guys have been working hard all day long. Very much appreciated. So we're taking a look at the replay. Here's Ben. You can see how he uses his paddle off the bottom, and then without switching, he comes off the top and pokes in on his toe side. Again, using that paddle off the top. Sets his heel rail for one more turn, and then Ben rides out of that one. So we'll wait and see what the judges think. As we continue to make our way through round 1, so plenty of action here in the next couple of days from Abu Dhabi as the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. See Sean Pointer in the All-Star jersey. He's just checking the conditions, making sure the bottom's still the same, that none of the sand is shifted around or anything. Sean's been looking really great in the free surfing. As we see Leko Salazar paddling into this one. Ooh, with a cross bow cutback. You can see his fin slid out a little bit, but he manages to come out of that one, and there's a nice little tail release there. And his patented 360 attempt at the end.
So some smooth surfing there from Leko. He really put that turn on edge on the first turn. It cost him a little bit of time on the wave, but then he went straight up into a really critical kind of reverse turn, breaking the fins free. So a couple great turns from Leko, checking his fins after that 360 attempt as he was going backwards into the really shallow area there in the pool. Mateo's helping him out here, but it looks like everything's okay as he gets some advice from Mateus, who is now lying third in the leaderboard. So Mateus coming in third in the leaderboard at the moment as it stands. Zane Schweitzer in the lead with 16.9. In second, Poinaiki Rioja with 16.2. In third, Mateus Salazar with a 16.1. In fourth, Caio with a 16.0. So you see how close there is with 4 riders in the 16-point range for their total heat scores. We go for a replay of Leko's wave here.
See, this is one of the first kind of crossbow cutbacks we've seen, and you saw as just before he hit the whitewater, his fins didn't quite grab, so he came a little bit behind, but then set up for the similar type of turn on his second turn and executed it very nicely. So Leko Salazar will get back out for one more attempt at the lefts. As you see, our lights are on now. We're getting into the evening time here in the United Arab Emirates. As Ben casually paddles into this one on his backhand with great patience on his top turn, a paddle transfer. Nice top turn there. Throws it up again, and one more turn, just falling off. It's very impressive how these competitors are able to execute that last turn in very shallow water, and they're very good at falling in shallow water. See the lights coming on. We have stadium lights here, so we'll run heats all through the night. Plenty of lights to see all the action.
So in this first round of action here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars, we see Connor Baxter in yellow heading out for action. Behind him a hopping Mo Freitas and Sean Pointer in the background there. So we're going to go to a replay of Benoit Carpentier's last wave. Nice rebound into the whitewater there. Driving off the bottom, crossing the paddle in front of him. Nice slashing turn from Benoit. As he sets up for this next turn, gets up into the lip. And another nice closing turn there from Benoit Carpentier. So that should improve on his position. We'll wait for a final call on that and see where the scores are lying. But we have a leaderboard update for you. Once again, it's first Zane Schweitzer with a 16.9. Second, Poinaiki Rioja from Tahiti with a 16.2. Mateo Salazar 16.1. Caio Vaj 16.0. Mo Freitas 14.5. Giorgio Gomez and Jan Vaj both with 14 points, as we see Sean Pointer on a wave here. This looks as though that was a transition wave, I believe.
We have a field of 32 men and 12 women. 32 men will be vying for those top 12 spots from round 1, which will move them directly into round 3. There will be 20 surfers going into a repechage. And now we see from behind the wall, Leko Salazar on his backhand, swooping off the bottom, off the top. Paddle transfer going for, I believe that was going to be a switch stance 360 attempt right there. You saw him do a body varial mid maneuver there. So I would love to see him try that one again. So hopefully as we watch the replay, it will continue to the end of that wave as Leko going for a skateboarding maneuver at the end. Benoit riding the backwash back out into the lineup. So here we are on our Turtle Bay replay. You see him, Mateo, we see Leko coming from behind the wall in the takeoff, setting up for a top turn. And notice the paddle goes from his heel side to his toe side. That's a cross style, and then he transitions. Now watch this. He's up for the 360, but then you see he does a body variable and goes from goofy to regular in an attempt to ride out of that wave. That was very technical there. And I would dare say that he's pulled off that maneuver at some point. Zane Schweitzer was probably looking at that going, all right. Beautiful shot of the water there with the lighting. We have some crisp work from our camera crew. So you can follow the updates on Facebook as we see our rider in yellow up and riding. Benoit, just timing was off right from the beginning of that wave. You saw him come off the bottom. Didn't quite make it to the top of the wave. And it appears that once your timing's a little bit off on one turn, it's really tough to regroup. So very different than some other conditions where the wave might be a little bit longer of a ride, where you have time to regroup after a little bit of a fumble. And it looks like we've got our sound back. We apologize to the viewers at home who have been watching live on watermanleague.com. Thank you for letting us know. It's incredible the groundwork that goes into providing a live webcast from the middle of the desert, but the technical crew is doing a great job here of trying to maintain and give you as much of the action as we can and as much information as we can when we get it. So we are back, we are live. Again, you can follow us on Facebook at the Stand Up World Tour, on Instagram at Stand Up World Tour. This is a Grand Slam event, so it's also part of the World Series. So you've also got at Stand Up World Series.
So what an incredible day of action we've had here, Anthony. Just some great surfing. I think conditions kind of as expected as we see Leko Salazar on his backhand. Ooh, nice second turn there, up into the lip as well. Some precise, critical riding from Leko Salazar there, so a great wave there from start to finish.
Yeah, he'll like that one. That was a well-timed wave. His turns were linked together very nicely as we see scores coming in for the first two rides. Leko, your first right was a 7.0, your second right was a 4.5, and we'll await your final score. Benoit, your first right score was a 5.2, your second score was a 1.9.
So the Salazar momentum keeping going here. Leko with a high left score of 8.1. He now has a high right score of 7.0. We're going to wait for his third wave to drop, but that was another good wave there. It'll be interesting to see how that comes in. Meanwhile, Benoit Carpentier with a high left score of 5.8 and at the moment a high right of 5.2. We are waiting obviously for Benoit's next wave to see what he has. The young Frenchman is an exceptionally talented surfer. He really had a breakthrough year on his rookie year on tour, and him and Mo were battling out for the Rookie of the Year. Just incredible young talents from their respective regions of the world. But Benoit looking to find himself this year and really show some of the talent that you see flashes of brilliance in his surfing in Brazil. We really saw that in Sunset. We really saw that. He was unfortunate going down earlier in Sunset, but definitely the performance of his surfing is there. He just needs to keep the consistency going and making sure that he gets through the heats, as we see Benoit taking off on this right. Benoit Carpentier from the northwest of France. Nice wrapping roundhouse there. And another banking back into the white water as he throws it up into the lip, and another lip turn. Just stopping the nose from catching there. So a good completed wave for Benoit Carpentier.
So a nice ridden wave by Ben. He'll be stoked on that ride. I would dare say that that's going to be his highest scoring, right? But we'll wait for the judges on that. He showed great power work, had good speed linking his turns together. So again, that was Benoit Carpentier from France, starboard team member. It's really great to have the support of your teammates at the different events to cheer you on and give you support. And when you do a great maneuver and the crowd goes wild, I think it influences the judges, but it probably doesn't. So here you have a replay of Ben's wave. That's after turn number 2. Throw some spray off the top there. Another hit off the lip. Manages to ride out of that. So Ben getting in 4 turns on his right. As fellow starboard team rider Sean Pointer prepares for his first right of his campaign. So here we go, Sean Pointer coming off the bottom, off the top. Again, nice slashing turn from Sean Pointer, showing lots of energy with this wave here. Oh, boom, Sean really enjoying that one. He, I think, was a little bit disappointed with his lefts, and he really let loose on that right there. So great surf wave by Sean Pointer, starboard team member. Sean setting his watch, getting ready for his next wave. And we'll get you scores as soon as we can, but I know Sean's going to be happy with that one, and that's going to definitely build his confidence. Hey, thank you. I need that. So our surfer in yellow, Connor Baxter, preparing for his first right. Living it up, come on. Fall asleep. So we have a Turtle Bay replay, Sean Pointer. Here he is with that. The double pump bottom turn really seems to be working as he slashes that top turn, extending his back foot. See him using his paddle very nicely on that second turn, sliding his fins out, coming off the bottom. Nice compact third turn, setting his rail very quickly to be able to execute this last turn. Those are 4 very aggressive sharp turns by Sean Pointer as he kicks out. He'll be stoked. That's the first wave on his right. So Sean Pointer beginning his campaign on the right, as well as Connor Baxter beginning to start his campaign. So Connor Baxter in yellow. Again, we've got a couple of starboard riders. Connor Baxter on his backhand. So Connor going for that crossbow turn to start. Switches the paddle on his toe side now. Throwing some spray on his second turn. Connor trying to build some speed. Trying to throw spins there, and he'll kick out. Get ready for his second wave on the right. And then we prepare for the coveted closeout sections. So in the background you got Bant Rodiger getting ready for one of those transition waves. As you see Sean Pointer paddling out for his second right as we await the score of his first scoring wave. So we've got the scoring updates for Lecco and Benoit, but we'll first watch the replay of Connor Baxter as we see Connor, the goofy footer, setting up for turn number 2, really slashing that turn, preparing for turn number 3. Connor really trying to accentuate that third turn to show the judges that he's committed on the inside. A couple of good turns from Connor. He'll be stoked to get back out there. So we're hanging out now. The sun's gone down, the moon's out. It's almost a full moon out there. The competitors are enjoying the cooler temperatures. We had the desert heat earlier today. It's a little bit better now as we see Sean Pointer on his forehand. Again, using that double pump bottom turn. Very similar first turn, but looked great. Nice swooping, carving cut back into the white water. Throws it up on his third turn. Sean's looking sharp on these rights, giving him some confidence building into these closeouts. So again, checking out the transitioning lights of our pool. We've got some reds and blues, and of course my favorite, the purple. So I think it goes red. There's the green first. So turquoise, green, as we've got scores dropping. Sean Pointer, your first wave on the rights was a 7.8. Connor Baxter, your first right was a 5.4, as we'll await scores for your second waves, as we see a replay of Sean's last wave that he just caught. So coming off of his first turn, the paddle transfer cut back right there, a nice swooping one into the midsection of the white water. Regains his balance, comes off the top, almost nosedives, but manages to pull it out, and he'll kick out and get back out into the lineup. But that first wave of Sean on your rights was a 7.8. Connor, your first right was a 5.4. And just to give you an update from heat number 9, Lecco Salazar, you're holding an 8.1 and a 7.0. Those are your two highest scores, 8.1 on the left and a 7.0 on the right. Benoit Carpentier, your highest scoring left was a 5.8 and your highest scoring right was a 5.2, as we see Connor Baxter paddling on his backhand. So he switches paddle on his heel side using that cross bow top turn again, setting his rail for a nice second turn. A little lively third turn, just coming a little bit behind the wave there. So Connor will have one more attempt at the right on his backhand, and then I think he'll go back to the left for the closeout, as we see Benoit with fellow starboard teammate Justin Holland. Justin Holland's done for the day. He had his heat. Justin is currently sitting in, I believe, 5th or 6th place. I don't think that's up. So Justin Holland had a little bit of a slow start on his lefts, but then came back strong on the rights and the closeout. So just to give you the updated leaderboard right after our Turtle Bay replay of Connor Baxter. So again, you see Connor using the paddle on both sides without switching his hands. That is a very difficult maneuver. And then a nice long bottom turn all the way back up to the top. And you'll see him set his rail. Looks like he was trying to get a little bit above the lip on that one, but didn't quite have enough speed and fell off the back of that wave. So the top 12 so far, we've got Zane Schweitzer in first, Poi Nike Rioja in second, Mateo Salazar in third, Kyle Vaz in fourth, Mo Freitas in fifth, Giorgio Gomez sixth, Jan Vaj in seventh, Daniel Hughes in eighth, Justin Holland in ninth place, Lucas Medeiros in 10th, Dylan Frick 11th, and Remy Keek in 12th. So those are our current top 12, as Sean Pointer paddles in for his third and final attempt at the rights and throwing lots of spray on that first turn, showing his paddle work right there, very similar to the previous wave, but a little better timed, and is able to get a very, very nice fin release, final turn, grabbing his leash, pulling out, as Sean's going with the thruster setup as well. See some of our competitors packing up, getting ready to call it a day. That's Bo Nixon over there with Angie Jackson, Paul Jackson down there, along with Casper Steinfath and James Casey, who had his heats earlier today. So Sean Pointer is walking up the beach, fixing his hair. He'll get ready for the closeouts. He's getting ready to boost. I know Sean's got something planned big for these closeouts, so I think he might stay on those rights on his forehand and set up for the closeout section. So let's take a look at the Turtle Bay replay on Sean Pointer's final scoring wave on the right. And this is his second turn, so you see he timed this one nice, getting ahead of the whitewater right there. That was a little bit of a check turn, and then he finished with a bang on the last turn that just didn't come on screen there. So we'll await scores. I do know that Sean's second right was a 7.5. So Sean Pointer, your first two rights, a 7.8 and a 7.5. Connor Baxter with a 5.4 on his first wave. We're still awaiting his second wave score as he is paddling into his third right-hand wave. So again, similar formula that he's been continuing with, that same crossbow first turn, nice carving cut back into the whitewater, a little bit better positioned on this wave, and executes a finishing maneuver on his closing turn. So Connor Baxter is finished on his rights. So I'm going to think that Connor's going to go to his forehand and hit the lefts for the closeouts. You can see how dark it's getting here. Giorgio Gomez talking it over. As we transition the pool to the closeouts. And very surprising, we've got Lucas Medeiros out there on the transition wave. Lucas logging lots of water time today. And that's Bant Rodiger, who's looking at the left. So Bant is a goofy regular footer. So Bant will be, I'm going to say he's going to go for some couple of switch maneuvers on this little fun transition wave. There's Bant. Getting the nickname Hair Flick. So you see him after he does a turn, kind of throws his hair back for a little hair flick. It looks nice and helps accentuate the turn. Shows a little bit of flair. So Bant just circling the water, waiting for that transition wave as we've got scores locking in for.
So we have a scoring update for you. Sean Pointer locking in the highest score of the day so far on his second right, a 9.2. So the first rider to push the scoring into the super excellent range, into the 9-point range. So 9.2 for Sean Pointer's second right, his first a 7.9. So, or his second a 7.9 and his first a 7.8. So Sean really going to town on these rights. His keeper is a 9.2. So his left at this point is a 5.0. We'll see how the closeouts go to see if he can discard that left. But as it stands right now, a 9.2 and a 5 for Sean. Connor Baxter locking in a 5.7 high score for his right to go with his 5.9 on his left. So that's the way it looks right now. We're going to be transitioning to the right.
Sean Pointer laying it down with a 9.2. And again, going back to the wonderful format that we have here, you know, if you struggle on one of the waves, on one of the types of waves, you have two other types to regain your confidence and momentum. We saw Justin Holland earlier today struggling a little bit maybe on the left. Sean Pointer, for him, maybe struggling a little bit on the left, but a 5.0 for me would have been an awesome score. And Sean perhaps refocusing and unleashing on the rights with the highest score of the day of a 9.2. Connor Baxter, your last right was a 5.7. So Connor, 5.7 was your highest scoring right, to go with a 5.9 highest scoring left. Sean Pointer, highest scoring right was a 9.2, going with your highest scoring left of a 5.0, as we see Lucas and Bant taking off on this one. Oh, Lucas coming up. See, Bant going switch. Started off regular, switched to goofy. So Bant's comfortable and aggressive either way. A number of these competitors are able to surf in both stance due to their windsurfing background. I remember seeing Connor Baxter last year at Sunset start off goofy, came off the bottom, switched to regular for an off the top turn, and I think it was a little bit too much for people to handle because you didn't really know what was going on. Connor Baxter showing a lot of versatility in the water as a very accomplished surfer and very accomplished racer as well. So you see Bant and Lucas discussing their waves. No, man, I was going to go do this sick air, but then I thought you were going to go. So as we transition into the closeout sections, again, we're back with heat number 9. That's Leco Salazar and Ben Carpentier. So Leco is sitting on an 8.1 and a 7.0 from the lefts and the rights. So we'll see if he can better either of those scores going into the closeouts. Benoit has a 5.8 on the lefts and a 5.2 on the right. Those were his highest scores, so we will see if that factors into his final score. So again, heat number 9, we've got Leco Salazar in blue, preparing for his first closeout attempt.
So Leco continuing the momentum for the Salazar brothers. Mateus, already one of the highest scoring athletes of the event so far, currently lying in 3rd place on the leaderboard, as we see Leco taking off on this wave. Nice slashing opening turn now as he sets up, does another little check turn, and banks off the closing section there. Really well timed off the top there.
So Leco Salazar staying on his forehand for the closeout section. And we'll see Benoit Carpentier in yellow from France. Young competitor, just 17 years of age. Let's take a look at the Turtle Bay replay. Leco Salazar driving, slashing what would kind of be called a check turn, another little check turn. So he gets in 2 turns before the closeout, and then just slashing the front of the lip there as the right approaches the left and causes that closeout maneuver. So Leco, the first competitor to attempt 3 maneuvers in the closeout section, so we'll see what the judges think of that. So 2 slashing turns and a nice off the lip. And Benoit paddles out. Looks like he's eyeing the right. So it's funny, even though the pool is symmetrical, the wave is in theory the same, you ask a number of the competitors, some of them say, oh man, the lefts are way better than the rights. Some of them say the rights are way better than the lefts. So it's very interesting how each surfer interprets the waves out here. So there's Benoit Carpentier from France, starboard team rider, getting position just inches from the wall. You see how controlled he is on his board as he begins to paddle into the nice green light, this Wadi Adventure wave pool. Nice crossbow turn there, comes off the top, boom. So Ben going with a carving cutback into the whitewater into his closing maneuver. So a lot of the competitors just going with a quick check turn, Benoit going into a full carbon cutback on that wave before he slashed one off the top. So I know Benoit has an aerial game as well, and we'll see what he attempts on his second wave in the closeouts. So let's take a look at this replay. That's an amazing slow motion shot. The nice green lights lighting it up. So you see the paddle on his toe side, then his heel side. Toe side again as he does a paddle transfer, uses the paddle to gain some speed coming off the bottom. And he went with a little different strategy. He didn't hit the oncoming closeout section. He just went up off the top of the lip on the right. So there's two ways to approach this closeout. You can gain some speed and hit the oncoming wave, or just go up off the top of the wave in the direction that you're riding. So we go back to Lecco Salazar. So Lecco, one of the groups of brothers and siblings that are here on tour. We've got Lecco and brother Mateos. We of course have Jan and Caio, the Vaz brothers. We've got Giorgio and Wizard Gomez. And we got Zane and Maddie Schweitzer. And even though Maddie may not, we're back to live action. Here's Lecco with a carving cutback, setting up for his closeout maneuver. Oh. Hit the lip and kind of did a little air out, showing his fins there, hitting the oncoming lip. Had a nice stylish little accentuation with his paddle there.
So we have an official announcement for the competitors. Heat 15 and 16, you are released for today. So Heat 15 and 16, you are definitely released for the day. At the moment, we're planning to finish up to the end of Heat 14. We will keep you posted if anything changes here, but Heat 15 and 16, you are officially released for today. You will be up first tomorrow. We will be updating the schedule by the end of the day, so stay tuned, and we'll post that online as well. Most likely we will start with the women's warm-up as we see a replay of Lecco Salazar's wave. Nice opening turn as he goes for this closeout. And in one-handed air there, takes his front hand off the paddle. We'll see how the judges like that, but he already has a pretty strong first wave there, but we'll wait for those scores to come through so we can update you. But Lecco Salazar looking really strong here.
I believe he was going for the mute grab there. So again, using the skateboard lingo.
Just so many things to grab. Just so many things to grab. You can grab the paddle, you can grab the rail, you can do a knee grab as Connor Baxter was doing earlier on. It's anybody's game here.
Yeah, and right now these competitors are trying to grab a spot in round 3 by posting one of the top 12 highest scores from round 1. And that will send 12 competitors directly into round 3. They get to skip around, so they're stoked. The rest of the 20 will go into the repechage. They will get 4 attempts at the closeout section, and they'll take the top 2 scores, and 4 of those 20 will go into the quarterfinals with the other 12 as we see Benoit on his second closeout.
Well, that was a really critical turn there, but unfortunately coming unstuck, the nose catching. Benoit going down there. We'll wait for the scoring update here. So we are coming to the end of heat number 9. So heat number 9 with Lecco Salazar and Benoit Carpentier. We do have scoring updates for you. Lecco, your first wave on the closeouts came in at a 7.5. Your second wave a 6.5. So your best wave is a 7.5, Lecco Salazar. Your best wave is a 7.5. We see Benoit Carpentier's turn in the end section there on the replay. Really impressive. Unfortunately, the nose catching and coming unstuck. Benoit, your first wave was a 4.9, 4.9. On attend toujours le score de la deuxième vague. So as it stands, Lecco Salazar with a 7.5 and a 6.5. So at the moment his counting wave is a 7.5. So he's looking in a good position with an 8.1 on the left. It looks like he will be able to drop a 7, which is a nice position to be in.
A lot of us would really enjoy having a 7 in any scoring line. So to be able to drop a 7, that's got to give him a lot of confidence here at the wave pool. So he's stoked. The fans are stoked. I know his family back home watching's got to be excited. Both of the brothers doing very well.
Well, it's been a great couple of years for Brazilian surfing here on the Stand Up World Tour, with Leco winning the world title in 2012, Caio Vaz finishing second in 2013, and then winning the first 2 events of the season. So, like I said, a great couple of years for Brazilian stand-up paddling, and you can see the effect of that with nearly 500 competitors at the last Alagoas Pro Grand Slam just last week. In Brazil, as we see Leco Salazar on his 3rd and final closeout, nice opening turn, sliding 360. That was a beautiful turn as he still has time to come out of the closing section. That was a phenomenal combination of maneuvers.
That was really smooth. That was one of those maneuvers where you don't even know what's going to happen, and all of a sudden he just threw that 360 out. So I don't know how critical that was, what the judges think, but I sure liked it.
Yeah, exactly. I think the judges are looking for really critical on-edge turns. I'm not sure how critical it was, but in the flow of the wave, it really worked. He did a beautiful turn and slid it into a 360. It's got to be worth something, and then he went into the closing section still with enough speed and flow to be able to complete the wave beautifully there.
Yeah, he really set up that closeout maneuver nicely. I thought he might have got caught a little bit behind that, but no, that was completely controlled and smooth and very stylish. Let's look at the replay.
Definitely portraying the Salazar flow. Here we see him already exchanging the paddle as he goes to drive all his weight on the inside rail, slide the fins out, just executing it to perfection there, that 360, the slide in 360 as he comes up to the closing section. Hits it perfectly there and floats into the flats. So what a performance there from Leco Salazar. We'll wait to see how that score drops. His top scoring wave at the moment is a 7.5. We'll see if that improves on that or not. We'll wait for the scores to drop by the judges. Meanwhile, Benoit Carpentier is heading out for his 3rd and final closeout wave.
I'd love to see that 360 again if we can possibly. I would love to see a third replay of that 360 because it was incredible, and we will wait to see what the judges think. As oftentimes happens in surf contests, when you have the glare at normal beach breaks, the judges have to move their towers and things. So we're just going to be repositioning our judges so they can have the best vantage point possible as Benoit Carpentier is on his final closeout attempt. Benoit swooping back into the whitewater, setting up to hit the oncoming section, getting up and through the lip, and that will conclude Benoit's heat as well.
So that's the end of heat number 9. So we're going to throw down to the beach to 2012 world champion Leco Salazar for his thoughts on that final heat. What a great heat for the Brazilian superstar. So down to Leco.
Aloha. Obrigado a todos aí que estão vivendo aí do Brasil, torcendo por mim. Vamos com tudo aí, rumo ao título aí. Falou. As ondas, pô, igual todas, né? Não tem muita dificuldade. Só tem que saber estar com o surf no pé, surf em dia. Eu e meu irmão estamos treinando direto, então a gente tem tudo para se dar bem. Salazar Brothers. Thank you.
So thank you, Leco. Always great hearing from the competitors, and hopefully everyone in Brazil is watching live on watermanleague.com. And we're going to look at a replay once again of Leco's 360 because this was a fantastic maneuver, very smooth. He just carves back into the whitewater and just slides his tail out with a lot of speed, coming off the top, boosting and landing out in front of the wave. Yeah, that was a well-ridden wave, and we'll wait to see what the judges think. Thanks to our staff for bearing with me and showing me that 360 for the 3rd time. I really enjoyed that wave, and here we have Sean Pointer on his closeout. And Sean driving, doing a nice compact turn, coming off the top, throwing his fins, very aggressive committed turn. So Sean Pointer is feeling it right now after his 9.2, the highest scoring wave of the day on one of his rights.
Yeah, Sean Pointer definitely on point here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. He had a slow start on the left, but boy did he make up for it on the right with that 9.2, and that was a great opening wave on his closeouts. Definitely will post a good score on that. So Sean Pointer looking strong here. As we got Connor Baxter showing some speed here, paddling out the little bump out to the lineup. If anyone knows how to catch a bump, it's Connor Baxter.
How did he ride that so far? Connor Baxter, not only fast in flat water, but winner of the Molokai to Oahu paddleboard race. Connor, a very accomplished racer from 200 meters to 32 miles and everywhere in between.
Yeah, he's a blazing paddler, but he's also a great surfer and a real charger. You know, I've seen some shots of him at Jaws this past couple of years that are pretty mind-blowing, putting himself over the ledge like not many would.
Yeah, going right and left at Jaws. Connor getting lots of sessions out there. I know Kai Lenny, Cody Kerbox, they've all been charging. Justin Holland's been out there as well. And Noah Janela had his first ride at Jaws a couple of weeks ago.
So here we see Team Nash. That's Lee from Team Nash here in the UAE, a great representative for the international brand Nash. Talking with team rider Bo Nixon, getting him a little prep talk, I imagine. Lee's a great supporter of the stand-up paddle momentum here in the UAE, but also obviously featuring all Nash products from kitesurfing to windsurfing to stand-up paddling and surfing even now with the addition of Jerry Lopez as their celebrity shaper for Nash International. As we see Connor Baxter taking off on his closeout. So he's lost the Maui Jim sunglasses, the evening light. Oh, that was a nice bounce without the board. Unfortunately, Connor Baxter coming unstuck there on his first closeout.
I think he was trying to walk his way back into that wave. So you see Connor paddling in. Wow, that's a different technique than I've seen with paddling with your paddle. I'm going to have to use that. So Connor falling off on his first closeout attempt, but he'll await his next ride as Sean Pointer paddles back.
So attentional paddlers, we want to make sure when you're waiting for your wave, you cannot be sitting, leaning off the wall. You need to be standing up independently of the wall. The other assisted devices, as we see Connor Baxter's replay here.
And I'm glad they went slow-mo on this because this is going to be fun to watch. So you see him up and trying to walk into that one.
Walking on water here in the UAE, Connor Baxter. Unfortunately, coming up short on the walking on water, but great attempt there from Connor Baxter.
So Connor, one of the standouts for the stand-up world tour. Connor and Sean Pointer surfing in a heat together, but not necessarily against each other. So maybe they can feed off of each other and continue to push each other to be in that coveted top 12 to move into the third round.
Absolutely, and Sean Pointer put on a great performance in the last event in Brazil, finishing in third place. Just had one of the tightest heats of the event against Kyle Vaj, the eventual winner of start number 2 of the Stand Up World Tour. So Sean is looking for redemption here, looking really strong on his forehand. Had a slow start on the lefts, but really consolidated with a 9.2 on the rights. Had a great start to the closeouts. We're just waiting for those scores. We'll fill you in just a second.
And Sean Pointer paddling, up and riding. Nice carving cutback, so a little different strategy. Setting up and going off the top, trying to have a little more extension with the tail of his board. As we see Mason Schremer down there hanging out with Izzy and Brandy. So Mason and Izzy will look to get their campaign started as the women begin their event tomorrow. So Izzy having a great start to the year. And one of the younger competitors on tour, both of those girls are two of the younger competitors on tour on either side. Izzy Gomez having won a couple of events already, last year and this year. So we go to a replay of Sean Pointer. So you see Sean getting out in front of the wave, showing some paddle work, cutting back not all the way into the white water because he's got to stay ahead of it, and then setting up for this closeout maneuver. He really tried to accentuate with the back foot extension, but dug the nose a little bit and came down. So Sean will look to better one of his waves. You see a great shot of Kiahi Diaboitz right there.
Kiahi getting amped up for his upcoming heat. He is actually in the next heat, so he's heat number 11. So after the culmination of this Sean Pointer, Connor Baxter heat, we will see number 2 finisher in Brazil, current number 2 in the world, Kiahi Diaboitz from Australia, JP Australia rider. He'll be up next, and he'll be in the water with Casper Steinfath, the Great Dane.
So we're going through here? Yeah. Okay.
So we do have a situation update for Leco Salazar and Benoit Carpentier. The final scores, heat score total of 15.6 for Leco Salazar. That moves him into 4th position in the leaderboard as we see Connor Baxter taking off on this wave. So slashing opening turn. And getting air above the lip, but coming unstuck, unfortunately, as we have a heat score update here.
Yeah.
So Sean Pointer, your first wave was an 8.0. Your first wave was an 8.0 for Sean Pointer. Your second wave a 3.0. Connor Baxter, your first wave was a 1.5. And we'll wait for the score on that last wave. So Sean Pointer has a great start on the closeouts with an 8.0, which at the moment with his 9.2 is, from my quick calculations, pushes him into the top of the leaderboard. So as we saw with Justin Holland, you can pull it back in the second 2 categories, even if you do have a slow start. As we see Connor Baxter opening up on the replay here, the Turtle Bay replay.
So Connor setting up for the closeout maneuver. We saw his air walk in the first one and attempting to walk on water once again, not quite landing on his board, but I think he'll try and make sure that he lands this next closeout maneuver.
Absolutely. Connor Baxter getting 3 points for his last effort. So you got a 3 points on that last turn, Connor Baxter. Sean Pointer currently with an 8.0 on his first closeout, which combined with his 9.2 on the right puts him in a really strong position. Right at the top of the leaderboard, but will come with the official result at the end of this heat. At the moment, Connor Baxter is counting a 5.9 and a 5.7 on the left and right respectively, waiting for his final closeout wave. And Sean Pointer here waiting for his final closeout wave. He's looking to better an 8.0, so pretty nice position to be in.
Sitting pretty with a 9.2 and an 8.0 going into his final wave of round number 1 for Sean Pointer. And again, just, oh, here he is. From the crouching position to the standing paddling position, Sean Pointer paddling into this one. See his paddle transfer, going for the carving, cut back 360 off the white water and just comes unstuck, but he was really going for it on that one.
Well, he could afford to take a risk there. He wanted to see if he could get an excellent score there. So put it all on the line. He already is sitting with a 9.2 and an 8.0, so very comfortable position for the young American.
And what a great bounce back. That shows some incredible just mental toughness. You know, we talked about the format and how there's plenty of opportunities for competitors to show what they can do, but you've really got to maintain a head if you have a couple of bad waves to start off your heat, and Sean Pointer came back wonderfully. So we look at his replay now.
He really put it all into this roundhouse here. He drove the fins into the whitewater and then tried to bounce back into a kind of a back reverse 360 there. Unfortunately comes unstuck, but that's not going to make any difference to his scoreline with a 9.2 and an 8 going to be his counting waves. Great position for Sean Pointer. Team Starboard really taking the top 2 spots at the moment of the leaderboard, with Sean taking the lead just ahead of Zane Schweitzer. And behind them, the F1 rider Poe Nike Rioja from Tahiti.
You know, as I look...
Yeah, so there it is official. We have a heat score total for Sean Pointer of 17.2, and that is counting his right and his closeout of 9.2 and an 8.0 respectively. So 17.2, just 0.3 ahead of Zane Schweitzer with a 16.9. And then we have Poe Nike with a 16.2 in third, and then we have a strong Brazilian contingent of Mateus Salazar in 4th, Caio Vaz in 5th, and Leco Salazar in 6th. So pretty strong lineup there. Those are your top 6 on the leaderboard as it stands of right now.
Connor Baxter, the goofy footer, paddling into his final wave. Check.
There, Connor setting up with something big, getting lots of speed, getting up and over the lip.
He wasn't happy with that. I thought it was a good maneuver, but Connor wanted to go big.
Yeah, Connor putting it all on the line there, but we're going to go down to that, the highest scoring heat of the day so far, 17.2 points. Let's hear it from Sean Pointer, starboard rider from that last heat.
Yeah, it was it's a whole different situation with being a pool and no salt water, no density, basically like we're used to in the ocean. So it plays a little factor on the whole stability factor on your board, and but yeah, it started kind of slow for me. It's an entirely different format. You get your waves and you know exactly what's coming, and I started pretty slow with a few mistakes on the left, and I just wanted to kind of come back and kick the right's ass. So I did that with that, I guess with that 9-2, a couple of 7s in there and stuff, and yeah, I was pretty blown away by the scores. You know, I'm basically now just looking forward to the next heats, and yeah, it's a great format here. It's interesting. It's all new, I think, to all of us, and it is for myself being the first time here. But I'm stoked to be here in Abu Dhabi, the wave pool. Thank you. Thanks.
So some words there from Sean Pointer, current leader on the leaderboard
of the scoring here, advancing through to round number 3. We've still got heats to go, so it all can change, but he looks fairly secure in going through there with 17.2 heat score total.
So as we set up the pool from the closeout waves back to our lefts, we'll look at Connor Baxter's replay. So Connor Baxter checking his first turn, making sure he sets up for something big, pumping down the line, trying to boost up and over. He lands it, but you see him shake his head, kick his board out, and we will await Connor's final score as we move into heat numbers 11 and 12. Heat 11 in blue, Kiahi Deoboit's currently second in the points lead for the world title, and Kasper Steinfath in yellow. Kasper from Denmark. Kasper, just a incredible athlete, both racing, surfing, very nice, intelligent fellow, and looking forward to seeing what he has to bring to the wave pool. Very interesting, the breakdown of heats. It's all just on ranking, and a lot of the Nash riders are in the second half of the heat, and a lot of starboard riders in the beginning of the heat, but that will all shuffle as some of the guys will skip directly into the quarterfinals, and some of them will be going into round number 2. So that will all be adjusted, but just a very interesting kind of side note. And in heat number 12, we will have Cody Kerbox from Hawaii going up against or with Alexis Daniel from France.
Okay, just the microphone, because I'm in my office right now. Alright, yeah.
So you see our beautiful lights as the waves just pop up out of nowhere, and let's see who's on this wave here. I'm going to say Daniel Hughes. Yep, Daniel Hughes slashing into one on this forehand. Go ahead, Dan. Oh, another nice turn. And we missed his closeout, so this does not count. This was just a transition wave. So Dan, I'm going to give you a 5.2. I just made that up. I'm not a judge. It doesn't count or anything, but I like that first turn. I want to see you do an air, Dan, on the left, okay? So not on the closeout, just boost an air only on the left. So Kiahi Deoboit's will be our first competitor in blue on the left. Kiahi having a lot of water time here, not just this year. He's been coming for a couple of years to the United Arab Emirates, enjoying the wave. So here's Dan's replay. That's the cool part about getting the transition wave. You get a replay sometimes too. How was that turn right there? Laying it on rail. Drop wallet turn. So we set up the pool. We are just getting ready for heat number 11, Kiahi Diaboit with Casper Steinfath. So Kiahi's been landing a lot of airs, some air reverses with a incredible heat in Brazil versus Giorgio Gomez. Kiahi just getting the nod on that one. One of our very talented multi-disciplined athletes. All of our competitors are very, very talented and able to engage in lots of different void sports, as we've seen a lot of skateboarding happening here today. Guys just enjoying themselves, wanting to get as much play time as you can while you're over here in Abu Dhabi at Wadi Adventure in Al Ain, part of the United Arab Emirates, or at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars, stop number 3 on the Stand Up World Tour. You can join us on Facebook at Stand Up World Tour, like us, also on Instagram at Stand Up World Tour. So you can also follow a number of our competitors on Instagram and see some of their amazing surfing and lifestyle shots. It's a great way to keep engaged with your favorite athletes. And find updates on the Facebook page of the Stand Up World Tour, as we will continue to update the leaderboard. And here we have, did we miss a wave? Casper Steinfath up and riding. Casper slashing his first turn and just catching rail on turn 2. There's a shot of Kiahi Diaboit, JP Australia rider. Kiahi, windsurf, kite surfing world champion. Did we miss his first wave, or did he? We got it, okay. I missed it, I think.
So yeah, an exceptional athlete. Kiahi Diaboit is no stranger to the wave pool. He's been here quite a few times with friend Kieran Taylor. Loves it over here. He's even kite surfed the pool. Just definitely an exceptional multi-sport athlete, and coming to form this year on the Stand Up World Tour with a third place at Sunset, usually with a third or fourth. I think he was third, and then a second place in Brazil. So performance from the young Australian athlete, JP Australia rider, just super progressive. And if there's one thing that Kiahi does more than anyone, he makes it all look so easy. He's not even trying. As we see him wait for the second left.
And if we remember back a couple of years, I'll get back to that story as we see Kiahi taking off on his backhand, going for the crossbow first turn, setting up nicely for turn number 2, and again, his crossbow turn for turn 3, and one more turn on his final maneuver for wave number 2 for Kiahi Diaboit.
So we have scores for you from heat number 11. First wave exchange was a 1.4 for Kiahi Diaboit and a 2.1 for Casper Steinfath. We're waiting for those second scores to drop. Definitely a better wave there for Kiahi Diaboit as we wait for that second score to drop. Now up is Casper Steinfath, as we see Kiahi contemplating in the water his last wave as we go to a Turtle Bay replay as we get to contemplate his last wave too. We missed the opening turn there, but he banks back into the white water there. And almost was a smooth disc now. stumbling a little on the shallow inside pool area there. But yeah, Kiahi Diaboit's one of the phenomenal all-rounders in this world. He came up against Kai Lenny in the kite surfing World Championship finals last year. So it's pretty funny to see these two leading athletes on the stand-up world tour coming against each other in another sport at the top level. So just really showcasing the sheer ability of these two athletes, that they're battling it out for world titles in different sports. So exciting to see this in this all new sport of stand-up paddling that's really in its youth. Even though the sport's been going for many decades, it's really in its renaissance, and it's nothing like the original form of stand-up paddling. This is a progressive sport as we've seen it, a variation on the theme if you like, as you see Casper Steinfath. Nice opening turn from Casper there. The Great Dane putting on a strong performance. And closing the wave nicely there. The Great Dane on great form here in Abu Dhabi. As we have a score dropping for Kiahi Diaboit's on his second wave, 4.8. Kiahi, your last wave was a 4.8. We'll wait for the last score of Casper Steinfath to drop. That was a greatly surfed wave actually by the Viking there.
Yeah, Casper looking very nice on that board, going with the quad setup. And you can see on those Nash boards, I think Kai Lenny was maybe one of the first guys to have the 3-plug setup, so you can move your center fin back or forth a little bit. And going back to Kiahi Diaboit's a couple years ago, he actually Casper, your second score coming in at a 4.7. So Kiahi scoring the first 10 on tour a couple of years ago at Huntington Beach. That was his first event, showcasing his skills, making his way through the trials, and then just laying down some of the most beautiful and progressive turns we've seen back, I think that was 3 years ago actually now at Huntington Beach, when he scored the Stand-Up World Tour's first perfect ride of a 10.0. So Sean Pointer getting closer to that 10. We'll see if any of our competitors can get a 10-point ride here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars.
So here we have Kiahi Diaboit's nice rebound off the whitewater there, and he sticks it. Kiahi using his layback kite surfing skills. I saw him do exactly the same thing at Pipeline. A little different scenario, but the same kind of skill set, being able to hang on in the midst of the fury of the whitewater. So impressive from Kiahi Diaboit's, managing to pull off that turn, and that will be his third scoring wave. We'll wait for the last score of Kiahi Diaboit's to drop as the Viking heads out. And Kiahi Diaboit's a 5.2. So Kiahi Diaboit's a So Kiahi Diaboit's, you got a 5.2 on your last wave. Kiahi Diaboit's a 5.2, so that will be, if I am, no, my mistake, sorry. Sorry, Casper Steinfath, that was your score. We're still waiting for Kiahi Diaboit's to drop. A 5.2, Casper Steinfath. Hang on, she's confused.
So we will await scores and give you all 3 scores for the lefts once we get them. So we do know that Casper Steinfath is setting up for his final attempt at the lefts. So Casper setting up in the lineup as we see the colors transition. As he's going for a fade turn, fade takeoff, coming off the bottom, slashing one off the top, releasing his spins, goes for the paddle transfer, and just catches his rail there, coming unstuck.
So our apologies for the confusion there. The last wave of, the second wave of Kiahi Diaboit's was a 4.7. Casper Steinfath was a 5.2, his second wave. We're waiting for that last wave of Casper to drop, as well as the last wave of Kiahi. So stand by for those final scores. As it stands right now, Casper sitting with a 5.2 before that last wave is counted. and Kiahidea Boyts with a 4.7 before his last wave was counted. So stand by for the final scores as we have the next heat paddling out. This is Cody Kerbox and Alexis Daniel from France. So two incredible stand-up paddle surfers. Alexis Daniel also from the northwest of France, Brittany, where we hold our stand-up World Tour finals in La Torche in the area of Finistère. So a beautiful part of France.
Cody Kerbox on screen, ready to begin his campaign at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. Cody Kerbox, part of that incredible Nash team, also part of that incredible contingent of stand-up paddle surfers from Maui. These guys just really taking the stand-up world by storm. It's amazing how just such a small little island, but there's so many different conditions and, you know, a great legacy there of surfing and big wave surfing that, you know, that's all you can do is just surf and surf big waves over there.
Absolutely, Anthony. Well, it's an incredible island, and it's as if there is something in the water here as we see one of its byproducts, Cody Kerbox. Nice opening bottom turn. Oh, just getting caught up in the white water there. Overzealous to get into his second turn there and create some speed. But yeah, Maui definitely possessing something pretty special. We did a talk story with some of the Maui boys at Surf of the Bar on the north shore of Oahu at Turtle Bay. Proud headquarters of the Waterman League. We did a talk story with those guys during the Sunset event and a little inside scoop to their secrets, what makes Maui so special, and one of the overwhelming themes was it's the challenging nature of the conditions. When it's giant surf, all the Maui reefs come alive. When it's not giant surf, it's super windy, so you got to be on your game and make the most of what you got. So it makes you into a well-rounded and professional surfer that's ready for anything, as we see with Zane Schweitzer really just showing a great performance here. Kai Lenny, 3 times world champion. Connor Baxter, one of the fastest paddlers in the earth, and you know, putting on a great performance here in the surf as well. And of course, Cody Kerbox. He's coming off a great result in the World Series in Brazil as well.
Yeah, I know Cody was a little bit disappointed in his performance at Sunset. He had a tough heat, and Cody's really looking to get some points to better his campaign in the overall standings for the Stand-Up World Tour this year. So Cody's first wave was a 1.5. That's for sure probably not going to go, that's not going to go into his lineup, as he will for sure complete one of his next left waves.
So yeah, that was just the opening exchange for these riders as we see the first wave of yellow coming up here. This is Alexis Daniel from France. Nice driving bottom turn, slashing cutback back into the white water. Nice second check turn and a third up into the lip. And just coming unstuck on that last turn, but really the work was done on that wave. Alexis Daniel from the northwest of France, one of the leading ambassadors for France and Europe here on the Stand Up World Tour. So we now wait for Cody Kerbox's next attempt here. He's got 2 more lefts to go until we move on to the rights for both heat number 11 and 12. So we will be advancing on to heat 13 and 14, and that will be a wrap for today. So it's been a long day of action, full of incredible action, as we've seen almost a climax as we've come to the Dhaka part of the day. We've seen some of the highest heat score totals of the day, with Sean Pointer, Lecco Salazar really putting on some impressive performances, but also before them, Zane Schweitzer and Mateo Salazar. So some great performances all day, and a lot more to come. As in the water right now, it is Cody Kerbox and Alexis Daniel. As we go for a replay of Alexis Daniel, there you see his first turn cutting back into the white water as he sets up for this second turn here. Just staying in the critical part of the wave. Not an exceptional turn for Alexis, but definitely a strong start for the Frenchman. As we head out to the lineup there, that's Cody Kerbox in blue, son of Bazi Kerbox, legendary surfer. As we see Cody driving off the bottom. Nice slashing opening turn. back into the white water, banks another nice slashing turn. And a third really nice sharp turn on that third turn, and a small closing turn there off the end section. That was definitely a strong wave for Cody. We'll see how the judges score that, but some critical surfing from the younger of the Kerboxes, Buzzy, his father, obviously a pioneer in ocean sports, a great early day surfer on the ASP World Tour, leading to being one of the pioneers of tow surfing, being a windsurfer, kind of involved in that kind of multi-sport culture that goes on in Maui. Still a resident on Maui for the most part, and is obviously his son Cody as we go to a replay.
Yeah, Cody Kerbox really finding his timing and positioning on this wave. That's where he went down on the first wave. And you see a beautiful cross bow turn right there. Almost falls off, but manages to regain composure and then come straight back to the top right there with a very nice compact turn, and finishing off with a little pump and one more turn that went up pretty vertical. So Cody Kerbox has got to be stoked with that wave as we will get ready for the Alexis Daniel. It looked like he was going for the right, but he was just positioning himself for the left.
Absolutely, Anthony. Well, it was interesting to watch as we went into slow-mo on that wave, just to see how integrated the paddle work is in the surfing, especially of the likes of Cody Kerbox, as we see him hitting the lip and transitioning the paddle from arm to arm. So definitely impressive to see that, but also to see the effect of not having the paddle in your hand has. As we see Alexis Daniel dropping in right against the wall here, driving off the bottom. Nice opening turn there from Alexis Daniel. And another slashing turn, roundhouse into the white water. Unfortunately coming unstuck. And we have a score update for you. Cody Kerbox, your second wave was a 6.2. Cody Kerbox, your second wave, a 6.2. We're going to wait for the final score of Alexis Daniel, the second wave of Alexis Daniel. He had a really nice opening turn and a really nice second turn, but unfortunately came unstuck just coming out of the roundhouse.
So 6.2, very nice score on your backhand. It appears a lot of the guys have been getting higher scoring waves on their front forehand and closeout. There's been a couple of surfers that have had their heat scores on their backhand. And Alexis Daniel, 3.4 on your second wave, 3.4 on your second wave. So that will not better your 4.2. As Cody Kerbox sets out. We see Casper Steinfeld looking on. James Casey's been hanging out all day supporting everyone. Sean Pointer in the background with Ivaya. Sean giving some tips. Hey, this is how you get a 9.2. All you got to do is do this and do this and do that. It's easy. Oh, you're showing her how to get a 10. Okay. She's gonna get a 10. So Sean and Ibaya, starboard teammates, they're just hanging out watching the rest of the heats. So really great to see all the competitors sticking around today, enjoying the facilities here. As Cody Kerbox sets up again. Cody with great flow on that wave. Showing his paddle work, staying in front of the wave with some good speed. Another nice turn there. And just finishing off. So Cody Kerbox looking sharp after falling on his first wave. Regained his composure and confidence. Finishing the lefts with a couple of nice rides. We will await the scores for Cody. Nash Team Rider, you see those signature yellow boards. Jersey's looking very nice. Cody doing a little bit of stretching as he will prepare for his forehand on the right. As Alexis Daniel paddling out, preparing for his final left. As you see replay, Cody on his backhand just getting very aggressive on all of those turns. So right now the competitors are looking for a 11.9. That's going to be the magic number to avoid the rapid charge round. So a total heat score of 12 is going to get you into those top positions. Yeah, as of now, if you get a higher than 11.9, you're going to be up. As we see Alexis Daniel missing his third and final attempt at the lefts, so that will count as a 0 on his score line. So it looks like he'll take a 4.2 as his highest scoring wave of the lefts, and as we await Cody Kerbox's last score. So again, as we continue to fill in the leaderboard, as of now, the competitors will be trying to get into that coveted top 12 spot. And so the scores will continue to juggle and get mixed around, but we do know that you get up into the 14, 15, 16 point range, you're looking pretty good. And there's a few guys that are on the bubble down there with some scores of 11s and 12s, 13.5 for Justin Holland, Daniel Hughes with 13.9. So we will continue to update the leaderboard on Facebook /Stand Up World Tour. See James Casey about to go catch a transition wave. As this swell continues to maintain through the day, so the forecast calling for light and variable winds with consistent pulsing surf. Whoa, whoa. Hell no. So we'll move back after this transition wave to heat number 11, which is Kiahi Diaboit and Casper Steinfeth. Casper Steinfeth will be surfing on his backhand. Kiahi will be on his forehand. We have a goofy versus regular. Okay. Okay. Thanks, man.
So this is an update for all athletes. We will actually finish at the end of heat 12. So heat 13 and 14, you are released for today. Heat 13 and 14, you are released for today. We're just contemplating how we're going to run the warm-up session for between 9 and 10, so let us come back to you on that. But heat 13 and 14, you are released for today. We are going to finish at the end of 12. Two in the world. The young Floridian. My brother Giorgio having a great performance as well. And a nice wave there from Kiahi Diaboit. Definitely a stronger finish there than on the left. So we'll see how that comes through for him from the judges. So Casper Steinfeth now heading out to the lineup.
So loud out there. Like all of them are here pretty much. Except for Candace going to text her. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we're going to go for a replay for Kiahi Diaboit on this wave. You see him paddling in. You see his relaxed style here. As soon as he's in and up and riding, he drives off the bottom, but with as if it's so easy. Slashes, throwing the tail out, pulling it straight back in, showing the control he has as he drives back into the white water, directs the board up over the white water to give maximum speed into his next turn as he goes up into the lip and throws the tail out again over the lip there. So a nice opening right-hander for Kiahi Diaboitz with a little foam climb, but unfortunately comes unstuck on that. But really the work was done on that wave. So Kiahi Diaboitz, 7.7 for your last wave. That combination of maneuvers really impressing the judges. So a 7.7 for Kiahi Diaboitz, really impressing the judges with a solid first right-hander there. So we are going to make the women's initial warm-up official. So we will have part of the women's warm-up will be tonight after this last heat. So women stand by for an official warm-up. It'll be in the groups as noted on the schedule, as we see Casper Steinfath there on his backhand, all the way to the inside.
She's in the second one anyway. Yeah, she's on.
So Casper Steinfath representing Denmark phenomenally on the World Tour and the World Series. He's also just a great ambassador for the sport globally. Very well spoken in about 78 different languages. He's an impressive young individual, a great athlete, and a great ambassador for the sport. We're certainly proud to have him here competing on the Stand-Up World Tour. And of course the World Series later this week. He's also one of the fastest paddlers on the planet, as we see Kiahi Diaboitz heading out to the lineup. 7.7 for his first wave. We'll wait to see what Casper's comes in at. So it's been a great first day of action here on day one of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars Grand Slam. All the athletes putting on a phenomenal performance. We're just working out the current leaderboard as it stands after heat number 10. Obviously 11 and 12 may affect that. And then we have heats 13 through 16 taking place tomorrow morning. So stay tuned. A lot more to come here. We have a score in for yellow rider Casper Steinfath, a 4.6 for your first right. Casper Steinfath notching up a 4.6 for his first right. He'll have 2 more to improve on that. Kiahi Diaboitz with a 7.7. So great opening right for Kiahi.
Yeah, Kiahi's been looking great and in form, so he's going to be excited to get on this next wave as Kiahi slashing one again. Paddle transfer and using his paddle for some great balance and just coming unstuck there. So Kiahi's first wave a little bit more complete than that one. And just to restate, the women will be doing their practice round tonight in these same groups that has been listed on the schedule, so they can begin to prepare for that. So they're going to be excited. But before the women go, Anthony Vela will be out there catching 2 waves body surfing, so the women will have to wait for Anthony Vela to get 2 waves. I don't know, I just made that up.
So body surfing championship by Anthony Vela. It might be a party wave because I might have to join him. So, but yes, we will have the women's warm-up heats this evening. Group number 1, Nicole Pacelli, Caroline Angibault, Aline Adisaka, Laurie Park, Izzy Gomez, and Olivia Piana. In group 2, Candice Appleby, Sophia Bartlow, Ibaya Moreno, Mason Schremer, Angela Jackson, and Miley Tahai. So we're going to be updating you on scores momentarily here. So 4.4 for Kiahi Diaboitz. So that's not going to improve on his first wave score of a 7.7. So here we have Casper Steinfath paddling into this wave, driving up the bottom. Nice top turn there, swooping top turn from Casper as he cuts back into the critical section, coming up into the lip there. Throwing the tail out there, another nice wave from Casper Steinfath. We'll see how that affects his scoreline. That was his second right. Casper looking on great form here at the Wadi Adventure Park. So that last wave of Kiahi's coming in the 4-point range. Nothing like his 7.7. It looked great. There was some nice surfing there. Unfortunately, coming short on that last turn, coming unstuck. We'll wait for a replay of that last wave of Casper Steinfath. Here it comes. Here's the Turtle Bay replay. Casper Steinfath driving up the bottom. That nice open turn. Kind of back into the power source. A little check turn there as he comes in for this closing turn where he gets the tail out there behind him. So definitely a nice wave for Casper. We'll see how that affects his scoreline, and we'll update you momentarily as Kiahi Diaboitz will be waiting on the outside patiently for his third and final right-hander before we advance on to heat number 12 for the rights. There you see him, Kiahi. Even his paddling looks relaxed.
Yeah, and even when he's tucked into a gigantic barrel in 2 inches of reef at backyards, he looks relaxed. And just an incredible, surfer in any conditions on any craft. As we take a look at the replay of Casper's last wave. And I like the rail work. Not very critical on his turns, but just beautiful rail work. And we go to live action. It's Kiahi Diaboitz on his JP Australia, slashing back into the whitewater, coming off the bottom, little dishpan turn there, and releasing his spins, going for a little air at the end. Casper, your last wave was a 5.1, so Casper's last wave coming in at a 5.1.
So that was another impressive wave from Kiahi Diaboitz, just coming unstuck on that third and final turn, but really the work was done there. There was a couple of really nice opening turns there. As Anthony was saying, he's one of the more progressive kind of aerial focused riders, but at the same time, he is one of the better barrel riders that I have ever seen on any craft. I mean, he rides a barrel on a stand-up board, a shore board, a kite board, all the same way. I just saw a 16-shot sequence of him getting barrel to backyards on a kite board, so he disappeared for 14 out of those 16 shots. So you can imagine how deep he was and how impressive it was, and he did come out. So Kiahi, an impressive all-rounder, and here he is competing in the wave pool, somewhere he's familiar with, and it definitely suits his style of riding.
Yeah, he's logged so much time in the barrel. It's just, I wish I could have some of his littler barrels that he gets. It's just incredible what he's able to do out there in the water, and the positioning and commitment that it takes. To have a wave barreling, it's shallow, and he is just takes off deep and makes it out more often than not. I know he's a local down there at Lani Kai, and just pulling into some really nice barrels there, weaving through the short borders, and his last wave comes in at a 5.7. So Kiahi, your last wave coming in at a 5.7.
And here we have Casper Steinfath dropping in on this wave, coming banking back into the whitewater. A nice top turn over the top there, and a nice critical turn in the pocket there. Just coming unstuck on that one, but that'll be another solid score for Casper. I'm not sure it'll improve his scoreline, but we'll see. Kiahi Diaboitz definitely staying with his 7.7, the first right-hander that he got, so that'll be his keeper as we have heat number 12 heading out now for their right-handers. In this heat, Cody Kerbox and Alexis Daniel, as we've got the spotlight there on Alexis Daniel in yellow. And we'll go back to the Turtle Bay replay, brought to you from Oahu's fabled North Shore, as we see Casper Steinfath in yellow, paddling right by the wall there. The beautiful looking water there with the light shining through it. And it's he drops back and he carves back into this whitewater. There's a nice turn here as he banks off the whitewater there. Nice critical turn. Letting the fins release a little as he goes into this next turn in the pocket. Really sets him up really well for that turn as he heads into this final turn. Unfortunately coming unstuck on this. Threw it up into the lip, but just unfortunately the rail caught.
Yeah, that was a nice wave. I enjoyed the cut back, and his second turn was very critical. Nice bottom turn showing his fins in the bottom of his board. So we'll see what the judges have to say about that, but I'm really enjoying the surfing out here. I hope all the viewers on watermanleague.com are enjoying it. I know Dave Bainey's out there watching, wishes he could be here. A lot of the guys are like, man, I wish I was there. I'm getting texts from the guys. That looks really fun. So Those of us that are here are having a great time. Those of us that are watching on the live webcast are wishing they were here. So come back next year as we look at live action in the water. That's Cody up and riding, slashing his second turn. Coming off the top, staying nice and low to maintain some speed into that slower section, and just falling at the end of his wave as we have Cody Kerbox completing his first right.
So we have updated scores for you. Kiahi Diaboy's keeping a scoring ride in the right. Casper Steinfath keeping a 5.1. His last score coming in at a 4.0. So 5.1 is in Casper's scoreline. At the moment he has a 5.2 in the left, and Kiahi Diaboy's a 4.7 in the left. So both riders will be looking for a boosting of their scores in the closeouts. As we see the replay of Cody's wave, nice carving cut back into the whitewater there, driving off the bottom and just putting everything into that turn. Really smooth surfing from Cody Kerbox, keeping the rail in the water at all times, and then a check turn into the whitewater there, and another as he does this closing turn, unfortunately coming unstuck. So a great opening wave there for Cody. I think we got more to come from this talent from Maui, but definitely a solid opener. So yeah, it's good to hear that Dave Bainey is watching. Definitely a popular character, both on the Stand Up World Tour and beyond. He's a great surfer, and he was with us on the Location X Finals back in the BVI back in 2012. It was great to have him there and get to know this unlikely character from Southern California. But to all of you out there, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us. We just get a score back for Cody Kerbox's first wave, a 5.2. Cody Kerbox, your first right as Alexis Daniel sets up on this right-hander. Pour tous les Français en ligne, c'est Alexis Daniel pour premier turn. Un deuxième, il maintient la vitesse, une troisième. Dans la dernière section, bon, c'est une belle vague. Le travail a été déjà fait sur les premiers deux turns. There we see the fluorescent Cody Kerbox in his orange shorts. So Cody getting a 5.2 on his first wave. We'll wait for the first score of Alexis Daniel to drop. So Abu Dhabi is one of those places that, a lot of places boast consistent surf. I've heard locations in the kind of 200 to 300 days a year surf. Here is proud to say 365 days a year there are waves at Wadi Adventure Park. Turn the switch on and we have waves. One of the unique features of surfing here in the Middle East, as we see Alexis Daniel on the replay. Just beautiful looking wave with the light shining through the wave. Nice opening turn there, really showing the judges the bottom of his board there. Banking back into the whitewater, keeping his speed up, and another one. Driving there, releasing the fins a little bit, but not quite, but definitely showing the bottom of his board. Driving as hard as he can. Into the lip, a little check turn. And just coming unstuck on this final turn, but solid first wave from Alexis Daniel.
Yeah, he showed a lot of commitment on those turns, and you turn on the switch and there's waves. You turn on the switch about 500 yards down the road and there's whitewater. Turn on the switch, there's zip lining, there's kayaking, there's rafting, so there's a lot of water activities to do here and a couple of above water activities. I know some of the guys went zip lining and a lot of the boys went rafting, and girls as well, so they had a great time enjoying all that Wadi Adventure has to offer, as Alexis Daniel's score locks in at a 5.8. 5.8 as you see Cody Kerbox up and riding, finishing his wave with a good looking turn. So Cody completing his second wave on the right. 5.8.
So great start there from Alexis Daniel with a 5.8. Definitely a strong wave from the Frenchman representing the region of Brittany and Northwest France. Cody Kerbox put on a couple of really nice opening turns there. We'll see what the judges think of that as we wait for that score to drop. So yeah, the other switch that doesn't seem to be missed every day is the sunshine and the heat here in Abu Dhabi. Definitely soaring temperatures through the day as we see Cody Kerbox replay, the Turtle Bay replay. Nice slashing opening turn, completely committed as he almost lays back into the whitewater, redirects his board extremely quickly with a paddle push there to generate speed. Another little slashing turn there. We'll see how the judges like that, but definitely that second turn was really nice, full commitment, slashing all the way back into the whitewater. Cody Kerbox has done nothing short of impressed this year. both in racing and surfing. As we see his fluorescent shorts lighting up the pool on the inside. And Benoit Carpentier doing the merman in the background. In yellow, Alexis Daniel setting up for his second right-hander. So once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to His Highness Sheikh Ahmed for his kind support of this incredible event, as we see the Frenchman making the most of his opportunity to be here. A nice roundhouse cut back, really reminiscent of the French riders I saw Antoine Del Perron in that turn. Has another slashing turn there into the white water, and a nice closing turn. So another great right-hander from Alexis Daniel, as the second score of Cody Kerbox drops, a 7.1. Cody Kerbox, your second score was a 7.1, so judges really liking the commitment on that second turn as he laid everything into it. But another strong wave from Alexis Daniel, who started with a 5.8. We'll see what that next score drops in at. But some great surfing from the Frenchman. And again, thanks to all our partners that made this event possible. Above all, the Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club and the Abu Dhabi Sports Council that really drive to make this Abu Dhabi All-Stars Grand Slam a reality. But also the ESSA, led by my good friend Tim. Such a character and such a driving force behind the growth of stand-up paddling here in the United Arab Emirates. You know, it's an incredible way of life over here, and he's really forging a great path to creating foundations and structure to stand-up paddling in the UAE. So excited to see the progress they're making there, but also thanks to our host here today, Wadi Adventure, and for the next 2 days after today. It's a 3-day window here. Luckily, the swell has cooperated for a 3-day window holding period, as we see Alexis Daniel opening up here. Really smooth surfing from Alexis here as he sets up for this nice roundhouse, really reminiscent of team member Antoine Del Perron, the French style coming through here, and another nice turn from Alexis, slashing, showing the judges the bottom of his board here, just really getting the full extent of the ride here in slow motion. Nice next turn, little check turn into the kind of lip there, and a closing turn off the closing section. So a very complete wave there from Alexis Daniel.
Really enjoying these Turtle Bay replays as we missed Cody Kerbock's live wave. That's live action right there. We will for sure go back to his replay. Alexis, your last wave comes in at a 6.7, so judges agreeing and enjoying that wave. Your second wave was 6.7, so that is your highest scoring right so far, and we will cue up a replay of Cody Kerbock's last wave as we just missed it. We were checking out Alexis Daniel's slow motion replay. Really enjoying that slow motion where you can see all the little subtle details and the commitment that these guys are making on each and every turn. We're into our 8th hour of competition. It's just been a fun, exciting day. It just goes so fast. I'm like, wow, we're into our 8th hour already, but each heat and is just exciting. You can't wait to get for the next wave. So we'll see what Cody's last score was.
So here we are. This is a replay of Cody Kerbock's wave. Nice wrapping first turn into the white water. Slashing a second turn, a little caught up there at the top. Oh, a nice third turn there, but again, just a little caught up. That end section's not that powerful. It kind of softens when you get right there. He gets a 5.3. No, we're waiting for that score to drop. My apologies. We'll wait for that score to drop. It was a 5.3. So Cody Kerbock in blue getting a 5.3 on that last wave. It does not change the situation. 7.1 is his highest scoring wave. That was his second wave. Alexis Daniel with a 6.7. So these riders really stepping up a notch on the rights compared to the lefts. Still got the last wave of Alexis Daniel. Here it is. This is his third and final right. Nice carving roundhouse again. Alexis looking at home on these right-handers. Some smooth surfing. And there he slashes another turn into the lip. And that will be it for that wave. I'm not sure, that doesn't look as though it'll improve on his last wave, but we'll wait for the judges to give their opinion on that as we wait for the final scores to drop. And heat number 11 will head out for the closeout. So we're transitioning here. We'll probably have a free-for-all here. And this is certainly a long team meeting here between the UAE Nash distributor Lee Apothecary, a fellow Brit. Very proud and honored to have your support of this event, as he's looking for me everywhere. I'm the man behind the curtains.
So you see they're enjoying the board racks over there. Some of the competitors have gone home for the day, so Bo Nixon just hanging out back there. Looks like Bo will be coming up in one of the first heats tomorrow against Bant Roediger. As we see a replay of Alexis Daniel. Nice carving cut back, coming off the top, slashing, throwing lots of spray as he repositions his board, setting his inside rail for another finishing turn. And how's that for a screenshot right there? So Instagram that for Alexis Daniel. And we look to lock in his final score, which comes in at a 6.9. So just a little bit better than his second score. So 6.9 for Alexis, very well served. And Cody Kerbox, your second, right, was your highest scoring wave, a 7.1. So Cody, 6.6 on the left, 7.1 on the right. Those were your two highest scoring waves. Alexis Danielle, 4.2 on the left and a 6.9 on the right. So those are your four scores so far as we set back up for heat number 11, Kiahi Diaboitz with Casper Steinfeth getting ready for the closeouts.
So yeah, it's almost like building momentum through the lefts and rights, and closeout really offering the most scoring potential. Although Sean Poynter mixed it up with the rights today, getting a 9.2 on the right, so really changed the dynamic. But until that point, it was really the closeouts providing the highest scoring potential. As we see a transition wave here, we have two riders lurking in the dock on the left, and Connor Baxter all the way to the right, waiting for this wave to come through. It'll be a party wave as the guys take advantage of the transition wave. I believe it's Giorgio Gomez standing up there, just coming out from behind the shadows. So it's been an incredible day here at Wadi Adventure Park, day number 1 of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars Grand Slam. This is the Stand Up World Tour surfing component. We're happy to have you with us. Thank you for joining us here at watermanleague.com. We have plenty more action to come here with 2 full days of action still to come on this showdown in the Wadi Adventure Wave Park. Tomorrow we will be getting underway with the first round of the women's, and then we'll be going into the repechage of the men's, and then the repechage of the women's, and then the round of 16. So a full day of action again tomorrow, as we see the transition wave about to hit.
There's Casper Steinfeth leaning up against his pole. That's been his kind of go-to point in between heats to just get a little space by yourself, think about your waves and prepare for your maneuvers. In the final portion of the heat format, which is the closeout section, so they pump a left and a right wave at the same time, and both waves meet in the middle, so it provides for some exciting finishing turns. Some of the competitors are throwing excellent first turns and then doing airs and 360s and off lifts, all sorts of things as we see our transition wave, not on screen but live. Casper enjoying the, looks like, I believe some of the competitors may have collided as we have some party waves, and you see Casper hopefully everyone's okay, their boards are okay, and we get ready for the closeout portion of heat number 11, Kiahi Diaboitz surfing with Casper Steinfeth. Once again, for those of you that are tuning in, our format for this event, we have 32 surfers in the men's event. 32 surfers surfing in heats with one other person. Much like some of the ASP events where you're running 2 heats at a time, we are actually running 2 heats at a time so that we can have less transition time in between waves. So the surfers will get 3 lefts, and then the next heat will get their 3 lefts. Then the pool switches to the rights. Both heats will surf the rights, and then the pool changes to the closeout portion, where each surfer in each heat gets 3 closeout waves. So 3 lefts, 3 rights, 3 closeouts. You get your highest scoring wave from each of those 3 different types of waves. So you'll have 3 scores. And then the judges will drop the lowest score, and you will have a 2-wave total heat score out of your 9 surfed waves. So we've seen a number of competitors perhaps struggle on one portion of the other, but then regain their composure and finish with the finale. We've also seen some competitors consistent throughout each different type of wave, as we see Kiahi Diaboit setting up for the closeout. Good looking first turn as he's setting up for a little boost off of the white water. I don't think he had enough speed to really set up an air that he would like to include in his total score, but he's got 2 more chances. 2 more chances at the closeout. So Kiahi is holding a 4.7 on his highest scoring left and a 7.7 on his highest scoring right. Casper Steinfeth has a 5.2 on his highest scoring left to go with a 5.1 on his highest scoring right. So each of these competitors will look for their highest score of their heat on this closeout section. So that was ride number 1 that we just saw of Kiahi Diaboit in blue, JP Australia team rider. We'll check out a Turtle Bay replay. So here we see Kiahi paddling in casually. You see him step his back foot back. I love the slow motion. Slashing his board, repositioning his feet. Now he starts to pump down the line. See him try to stay right in the pocket. Attempting the boost, throwing some spray there, but Kiahi knows that he can land a much higher, more critical, more committed maneuver in the closeout section. So we'll see what the judges think. Again, thanks to the judges working hard all day long. We're enjoying the action here live on watermanleague.com. Abu Dhabi All-Stars here at the 3rd stop of the stand-up World Tour. Stop number 1 was the Sunset Beach Pro, won by Art and Surf team rider Kyle Vaz. Yep, there's Kyle right now. Second event, we were in Brazil. And we have up and riding Casper Steinfeth. Sliding the spins out on turn 2. We just missed that first turn, but of course we will go back to a replay. There's 90 seconds. Each wave comes every 90 seconds, so plenty of time to look at replays, check out the crowd, and enjoy all the action here at Wadi Adventure. And here's Casper's replay. So see Casper setting up with his check turn. I think he might have went too far down to the bottom and wasn't able to come up to the lip with as much speed as he would have liked. So Casper will regroup, get ready for closeout number 2 as we go back to Kiahi Diaboit for his closeout wave number 2. Sitting here up in the announcing booth, enjoying all the action of the stand-up World Tour. 32 of the top stand-up paddlers are here to compete for the coveted title, the Abu Dhabi All-Star Champion. And we also have 12 women that will begin their event tomorrow. So 12 women will be competing here this year as well. Last year it was an exhibition, invitational only, where there was a handful of men and 2 women were here. 3 women were here competing. Olivia Piana is here once again this year. And Caroline Anjabou is here also again. And Jen Scully was one of the competitors last year. Live, love, sup. So Jen Scully, shout out, hopefully she's listening online as we see flatmates, roommates, James Casey and Giorgio Gomez. They're both hanging out watching the action. Giorgio checking out Kiahi, seeing what he's going to do on his second closeout. Kiahi slashing his spins, getting ready to boost. There he goes, the nice controlled off the lip. So Kiahi Diaboitz, his second closeout wave. We will await scores from his first wave as well as Casper's first wave. So we'll check out Kiahi's wave again. So you see he checks that turn. It looks very nice, but not super committed, and there he is, showing the commitment on that second turn. Up and over the lip. There's that JP Australia board of Kiahi. And one more look at this wave, slow motion. See how nice that turn is, but it's just a little check turn to set up for this maneuver right here. See him drive off the bottom and then boost one off the top, accentuating that back foot extension, sliding his fins out a little bit, riding out of that maneuver, and we will await scores for a couple of waves for Kiahi and Casper Steinfath from Denmark. Casper, part of the Nash team. We have a great contingent of Nash team riders here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. You see the beautiful turquoise lights lighting up the pool. And we heard James Casey talking earlier in his interview on just how intense it is when you're waiting for the wave. It's just comes out of nowhere as Casper Steinfath setting up on his forehand. Slashing his first turn, getting some speed, going off the top, diving into the shallow waters of the inside section of the Wadi wave pool. Some shallow reef there on the inside. We've had a few competitors that have donated a little bit of skin. Some competitors have donated a little bit of fiberglass from the bottom of their fins. And we may have had one or two donate some fiberglass from their boards as well. So we'll look at Casper's wave, the goofy footer. Again, maintaining his speed by staying on the higher portion of the wave. As you can see, the curve of the waves, he drops down to the bottom and then off the top, sliding his fins out, making sure he completes that maneuver as he dives off. That is called the shallow water dive. So we've got scores for Kiahi Diaboitz, first two waves. Kiahi, your first closeout was a 7.0. Your second closeout was a 6.2. Casper Steinfath, your first score was a 3.8. It's not. Casper Steinfath, your your first score was a 3.8. Kiahi Diaboitz, your first closeout was a 7.0. Your second one was a 6.2. So Kiahi, 7.0 and a 6.2 are your two closeout scores. Casper, you have a 3.8, and we are still awaiting your second score. As Kyle Vaz had a great heat earlier, he's just enjoying some skateboarding down there, pulling into a pole barrel right there. So that was a very critical maneuver that Kyle Vaz just pulled off. And here's Kiahi Diaboitz on his third and final closeout attempt. Carving back into the whitewater. Here's Kiahi off the bottom. Boosting off the top on that one, throwing his spins, showing his style, and he will complete his heat as we await Kiahi Diaboitz's final score. Casper, your second wave was a 4.0. So Casper, your second closeout wave was a 4.0. Your first wave was a 3.8. There's Kiahi coming up the beach. Look at our Turtle Bay slow motion replay. You see, keeps his high line, comes off the bottom, perfect timing off the lip, up and over, showing his spins, riding out smooth. taking it all the way in, walking up the beach, putting his board away. Kiahi Diaboitz will sit and enjoy the last few waves from the heat of Cody Kerbach and Alexis Daniels right after Casper Steinfeld has his last wave. .7 coming in for Kiahi Diaboitz, third and final closeout wave. So that is his best score on the closeout. So Kiahi with a 7.7 on the right and a 7.7 on the closeouts. So that will be a total score of 15.4. Very good total heat score. We'll look to see how that compares on the leaderboard. So again, these 32 competitors, they're surfing with another surfer in their heat, but against all of the other competitors for their total heat scores, as we see Casper Steinfeld on his last wave. Nice turn off the top. He'll maintain that high line off the bottom, off the top combination. Stays low to maintain his balance as he comes in off the closeout, and Casper will finish his round one heat. So that is heat number 11 finishing up as we move into heat 12, which is the final heat of the day of Cody Kerbach and Alexis Daniels. So heat number 12 will be our last and final heat before we begin the Anthony Vela, Tristan Boxford body surfing expression session. And then the women will have a chance to warm up in their groups. So group 1, Nicole Pacelli, Caroline Anjabou, Aline Arisaka, Lori Park, Izzy Gomez, Olivia Piana. That will be the first women's heat to warm up right after we finish these 3 waves and a couple of waves for the body surfing expression session.
So here we have a replay. Sorry, I missed that action here, so happy to catch up here as this is Ryder in yellow, Casper Steinfeld on a closeout. Driving off the bottom there. Nice top turn there, throwing some spray as he sets up for this end section. Let's see what he's got. And it just freezes before the end section. So unfortunately we didn't get to see that, but I'm sure you guys saw it live as it happened. We will update the scores momentarily. So Kiahi Diaboitz notching up a 7.7 for his highest closeout score and a 7.7 for his highest right score, which is a 15.4 total. So that'll stand him in good stead to advance directly. We will update you momentarily. So some really high scores as we see Cody Kerbach just wrapping up that wave, a critical closing turn. We'll wait for the replay on that wave to be able to give you the full lowdown. Meanwhile, Casper Steinfeld notches up a 5.8 on his last wave, so he has a 5.8 high score on the closeout and a 5.1 on the right. So I'm not sure that that is enough to get him into advancing position, but we will update you in a moment as we see Cody Kerbach paddling out for more. We'll wait for that last score to drop, and here is the replay of Cody Kerbach's last wave. So a really critical closing turn there. Beautiful turn from Cody. Beautifully executed. So we'll wait to see how the judges view that.
As we wind down the first day of competition here, the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. You know, great call, Tristan, running the event today. A lot of the competitors were saying to wait for that next swell that was going to come in, but you really made a commitment to stick with this swell that we had today, and it's been providing some great scores as we begin to update the leaderboard. We do know that Sean Pointer is in the lead, posting the highest wave score of the event so far with a 9.2. So Sean Pointer gets into the 9 club, and we had a number of 8s. Zane Schweitzer had an 8.5. I believe Poinike Rioja had an 8.5. I think perhaps Lecco or Mateos had an 8.3 as well. So we're updating the leaderboard right now as Alexis Daniel gets ready for his closeout wave. as we finish up heat number 12 of round 1, heat 12 of 16. So Cody Kerbox with Alexis Daniel. As Alexis Daniel just falls off right there, so we have an unridden wave. All the competitors frothing on this one, boosting on that last end section. So that is a 0 for Alexis Daniel. So we'll go back to Cody Kerbox. So it's a lot of pressure here. You have 9 chances. If you miss a wave, that counts as one of your waves in your 9. A wave comes every 90 seconds here at the wave pool. We do 6 lefts for 3 for each competitor, and then 6 rights, 3 for each competitor, and 6 closeouts, 3 for each competitor. We take the highest score from the left, from the right, from the closeout, drop the lowest of those 3, and you come up with a 2-wave heat score. The top 12 from the round of 32 will move straight into the quarterfinals. The remaining competitors will go into a last ditch repecharge round. Each competitor getting 4 closeouts to get 2 high scores in their wave count for the closeouts. The top 4 of the 20 will meet up with the other 12 competitors in a 16-person quarterfinals, and then we will go man-on-man for each heat for the remainder of the competition. So this first round is unique for both the men and women. They are competing against each other in total heat score from all of the competitors within the first round. And then as we get into the quarterfinals, the competitors will be going head-to-head. So really cool format here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars, giving the competitors plenty of opportunity to display their arsenal of maneuvers, as we see Cody Kerbox paddling into this one, coming off the bottom, slashing one off the top. Cody driving down the line for the closeout, and again, his timing is great on that closeout maneuver. So Cody Kerbox, your first wave coming in at a 7.6. So Cody, your first wave was a 7.6. Alexis, you know your second wave was a 0.00. We see the girls have been frothing all day. They're getting ready for their practice round right after the body surfing expression session. We go to the Turtle Bay replay, the slow motion replay. You can see how he kind of double pumps, and I like how he doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but really showing a lot of commitment on that first turn. That wasn't just a check turn, that was a committed turn, as Cody meeting the lip at its highest point, connecting with his board and the lip and riding out of that one nice and smooth with style, showing control. So we'll see what the judges have to say. Judges just working hard all day long. Competitors enjoying themselves down there. Who's that? Someone's down there on their Instagram right there, following Anthony Vela Sup. Who's that in the starboard hat backwards? Probably Justin Holland, I think.
Yeah, it is indeed. No, it's Leonard Nika looking at Anthony Vela. Yeah, there you go. Oh, he's changing it up now. So Leonard Nika, one of the starboard team, the extensive talent. So we will give you updated information in just a few minutes. That's Alexis Daniel. Nice opening turn here as he sets up for the closeout. Nice banking top turn there. So a good performance there from the Frenchman from the northwest. Brittany is the region. So he had a good session on the rights there with a 6.9. He had an unfortunate fall on that first wave, getting a 0-point ride. So that'll definitely obviously improve his position. We'll wait to see how that drops. But Cody Kerbox looking in a great position here with a 7.1 on the rights, waiting for his second wave score on the closeouts to go, but already notching up a 7.6 on his first wave. So great performance from Cody Kerbox. I can give you the updated standings as they are for the top 12. This is going to change based on this heat 11 and 12 as we look at a replay of Alexis Daniel. So nice slashing opening turn, showing the judges the bottom of his board there as he sets up for this closing section. Great timing here from Alexis, really hits the most critical part of that wave, and as a result gets a nice critical turn off the top. We'll wait to see how the judges like that. But as it stands right now, your leaderboard leader, the top of the leaderboard, Sean Pointer with a 17.2. In second, Zane Schweitzer with a 16.9. In third, Poinaiki Rioja with a 16.2. In fourth, currently, Mateo Salazar with a 16.1. In fifth, Kyle Vaj with a 16.0. So we'll wait for these scores to update. As we just have a score dropping for Cody Kerbox, it's in the excellent range. 8.3 for your second wave. Cody Kerbox, your second wave, an 8.3. So that is now your best score on the score line. And you are currently holding an 8.3 and a 7.1 as your two best scores from the right and the closeout respectively. This is Cody Kerbox dropping into his third and final closeout. Looking very alive on his board there, driving off the bottom, slashing top turn, regaining speed, and banking another critical turn off the top. He was doing these all day long in Brazil. Here he is on foam again in Abu Dhabi. That was a great close to his first heat. We'll see what that final score comes in at, but he already has notched up an 8.3 on the closeout. See if he can improve on that.
I don't know, I'm no judge, but that first turn was very nice, maybe a little more aggressive than his previous wave, and his second turn equally as aggressive as his 8.3. So Cody with two very, very nice waves. Yeah, Cody, well done. Cody on screen there, finishing up his heat. So we'll look at the Turtle Bay replay of Cody's last wave. You can see him lively off the bottom with that quick little double pump and just slashing it right there. And look at his positioning, just perfectly set up for this last maneuver. Comes off the bottom, cranks it off the top, vertical coming back into a re-entry. The judges giving it a 7.4, perhaps maybe wasn't as controlled as his previous wave, but the fans certainly liked it, and that will come in at a 7.9, but he will, 7.4, excuse me. He will maintain his previous wave of an 8.3 and a 7.1, so Cody notching up a unofficial heat score of 15.4. I didn't trust my
So
math
there
yet.
you have it. Cody Kerbox putting on another stellar performance here in round one. This is the closing heat of the day before we get underway with the women's warm-up, or the first half of the women's warm-up. So Cody Kerbox wrapping up his first heat with a 7.1 counting on the rights and an 8.3 on the closeouts, making it a heat score total of 15.4. That puts him right up there, I believe, into 7th place in the leaderboard alongside Kyahi Deerboits, also with a 15.4. As we see Alexis Daniel, it's not over yet. Nice opening turn from Alexis. And another critical hit off the top. Getting some lift off the lip there. Both of them really finding that most critical section of the wave. Cody going for the more connected hit, really radical coming down at really contorted angles. Alexis getting a cleaner over the top hit. You know, both different approaches, but you know, certainly Cody's perhaps looking a bit more radical, but definitely a clean finish from Alexis Daniel.
Yeah, very well surfed wave as we conclude our round number one action for today, getting through 12 of our 16 heats. So we will continue with round one tomorrow, and we look at a replay of Alexis Daniel's last wave, excuse me. Comes off the bottom and setting his paddle and his rail at the same time, swooping off the whitewater, using his paddle to get some board speed, and then that is his most committed closeout maneuver of this heat, so we'll see what the judges say.
So what an exciting finish to that heat with Cody Kerbox really putting on a strong performance there, but Alexis Daniel as well with a great last wave. We'll wait for that last score, but that is a wrap for our competition part of today as we send the women out for a short warm-up.
So you're letting the girls get in for a warm up?
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. They've got an hour until 10. Tell the guys to get the hell out of the pool.
Yeah, so guys, please make way for the ladies, show some gentlemanly respect, but please stand by for those of you online because we want to give you the final leaderboard as it stands. And Alexi Danielle posting a 7-point ride on that last closeout. So a great performance from Alexi Danielle. I think that might well have secured his advancing. We'll just double check on the scores here. His heat score total of 13.9. So 13.9 for Alexi Danielle. It looks as though he might just be in contention. We will come back to you in a moment here with the final leaderboard. But what a great performance from Cody Kerbox and Alexi Danielle. Please, all riders in the water, make way for the women who will be heading out for their warm-up session. So we will now have a warm-up session with the ladies. Stand by, we'll be updating your leaderboard in a second here. So just to confirm, the first girls warm-up group, so those of you online, you're going to get a treat here of some of the best girls in the world here on the Stand Up World Tour. In group number 1, Nicole Pacelli from Brazil, Caroline Angibault from France, Aline Adisaka from Brazil, Laurie Park from the US, Izzy Gomez, also from Florida in the US, and Olivia Piana from France, last year's Abu Dhabi All-Star. So here is an update on the standings as they stand here with the leaderboard after heat number 12. Obviously, we still have 4 heats to go tomorrow to decide the final 12 that will advance through to round 3. But as it stands right now, Sean Pointer at the top of the leaderboard with 17.2. In second, Zane Schweitzer with 16.9. In 3, Poinaiki Rioja with 16.2. In 4, Mateus Salazar with 16.1. In 5, Kyle Vaj with 16.0. In 6, Leko Salazar with 15.6. In 7, Cody Kerbox tied with Kiahi Diaboitz with 15.4. In 9, Mo Freitas with 14.5. In 10, Giorgio Gomez with 14.0. Also tied with Jan Vaj, also with a 14.0. In 12, we have a tie as well with Daniel Hughes and Justin Holland. Oh no, my apologies, Daniel Hughes and Alexi Danielle. So Daniel Hughes and Alexi Danielle currently tied in 12th position with 13.9. So we don't break the tie yet. It will depend on what happens in the next 4 heats. But as it stands, those are the top 12 positions advancing through. Everybody else will have to surf in the repechage. The repechage will take place tomorrow, so stay tuned. A lot of action to come tomorrow. It's going to be an incredible day as we see the sudden death repechage round for the men to make it through the last 4 positions out of 20 guys to make it through. But we'll also have the culmination of this first round, which will have the last 4 heats of the day, which will be Bo Nixon and Ben Rodega. Bo Nixon from Australia riding for Nash, Ben Rodega from Maui. We have Kai Bates riding for Fnatic from Australia, Leonard Nica from Italy riding for Starboard. We have Noah Janella from Oahu's fabled North Shore, actually, just down the road from Turtle Bay, riding for Nash. Paul Jackson from Australia for Fnatic. Kai Lenny from Hawaii for Nash. And Jake Jensen from Australia for Fnatic. So a pretty heavy lineup for those last 4 heats. Stand by for tomorrow for the culmination of this round 1. The first round of the women. You see those women in the water now just warming up, the first group of those women. And then we will also have the repechage or sudden death round for the men. So stay tuned, a lot of action to come tomorrow right here at watermanleague.com. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an incredible day and just the start of 3 action-packed days here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars Grand Slam. But also make sure to stay with us through the week as we head to Yas Marina later in the week for the World Series that will take place in the incredible marina just below the Formula 1 track, and then of course the relays at Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club. So a big thank you to Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club Our major partner for this event, of course, the ESSA, the official stand-up paddle and surf association for right here in Abu Dhabi, the Abu Dhabi Sports Council. Of course, our host today, Wadi Adventure, our hosts of the forthcoming World Series, Yas Marina, Emirates Airlines, and all those who made this event possible. We'd like to thank our full crew for a very long day of action, from our judges to our media crew. Thank you so much. We hope you've enjoyed watching. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay tuned for start time at watermanleague.com or at the Waterman League Facebook, and we'll see you tomorrow. Aloha and a hui ho.
Standout World Tour patrons provide a vital support mechanism for the continued growth and development of the sport and its World Championship Tour. They also support some of the world's leading athletes as they pursued their quest for the World Championship title. World Series patrons provide a vital support mechanism for the continued growth and development of the sport and its World Championship Series. They also support some of the world's leading athletes as they pursued their quest for the World Championship title.
So much opportunity for intermediate and growing surfers.
Oh yeah, the North Shore has every variety of wave you can think of. Places like Buena Point on the inside where Uncle Brian teaches his surf lessons, or Hans Hedeman Surf School down there at Turtle Bay.
And here at Turtle Bay, we're with lovely waves right around the hotel. Get quality surf and quality water time.
Turtle Bay is your gateway to the North Shore.